West, we live. Salute, salute, salute. Deuce Sims the Don. You know what I'm saying? I'm in here with my player partner, the sniper himself. You know, Mr. City Slicker. Diamonds in the building. We waiting on y'all. If you already in the chat, we gonna be playing music and going through the chat is my music, so YouTube still ain't gonna be able to take it away. And we gonna get into this content because today we gonna flame CS2 back up. You know what I'm saying? It's been a lot of speculation and a lot of defense of a rat. If you harbor a rat, say that. You know what I'm saying? But in the meantime, we got two more songs. We're going to get into this first one. Deuce Sims, March Madness. Let's go. I'll make sure y'all run that up. Hit the like there.
Who the fuck is Bloody Good? Bitch, this March Madness. Turn up Los Angeles, red flags run my mouth like Wild West Band. Chung Humboldt cannabis till they passed out, stressed out, come chanting it. Bitch, it's your brimming, I do mine like this. Bitch, a dime at the function, that dime might flip. Head to tail, I fucks, iced up wrist, active chuck chain hanging like grandma's tits. Niggas really gang bang, see gang sign twist. 2 fingers and a thumb, those CEO sign crip. Come on, bitch, I'm on presidential, don't get in the passenger, get dome inside a Coke White 6. I'm arrogant in the that food town script. It's apparent bread, it's sick like veteran pimp. Bitch, I'm ready, Roman meal, me sponsor the G. Copperfield, but could you make that pussy do on game? Slide to the left, everything to the right. Twist your fingers, nigga, blaze up the flight. Skip to the left, then stomp to the right. March Madness, what's poppin' for the night? Turn up, March Madness. Till high as a kite. Patron shots all in the limit slide. Hashtag March Madness. Fruit thighs, brim fly. So whoop it till you pass out tonight. Fuck the one that can't handle it. Turn up, 37 drive. LS pull up an LS full of dimes. Flag red bandanas. Nino Brim on the dike. Got a Benji, say my nigga 5'9". Commit crimes and did time with my nigga. Smoke pine with my nigga. Drive by this 4 feet for a Los Angeles clip. A regular fixture. Don't make me tiny richer. Truth is that his squad dying to gangbang men. That's why Dames want pictures. I swear the game's so vicious. All player heads gon' head. 50K at them niggas. Bottles of yak by the crate. Rock flame by the tennis. Powder belt ain't the match. Cut my frame powder lens. A bit to my fly brimming. Had crips hitching, they brimming. From the A's to the waves. Till my gangsters in prison. Bad blows to the Trouble gang, Hooper, Crip, Freemason, Sunny, and Porky. Still fuck gang, slide to the left, everything to the right. Twist your fingers, nigga, blaze up the flight. Skip to the left, then stomp to the right. March Madness, what's poppin' for the night? Turn up, March Madness. Till high as a kite. Patron shots all in the limit slide. Hashtag March Madness. Fruit thighs, brim fly. So whoop it till you pass out tonight.
All right. Welcome to Damu Keyway Conversation. It's Deuce Sims the Don. Today we're going to be real strategic and precise the way we cut through with this paperwork because everybody been asking me where it's at. I tell them on my website. It's been so long ago they can't find it. We got some new revelations in the case of the Streets versus CS2 back, a.k.a. WACK100. We definitely go get into that. But in the meantime and in between time, y'all share this live. You know what I'm saying? And we gonna play last song.
Want to know exactly what's in your P.O. box without calling or getting in the car?
Featuring Brianna Mary.
Wouldn't it be great if you can manage and read your mail when
Damu Keyway Conversation. Y'all see that red and blue action stuff dragon? Blow this up so y'all can see this. Go subscribe to the Deuce Sims Vivo.
Who I was, I'm not going back where I started from. Don't look back, I'm gone. I remember who I was, I'm not going back where I started from. Don't look back, I'm
From Hit Your Bremen to Do Sims Light Up, the versatility is a quality every artist don't have. Let's go.
If you understand it like you feel where I'm coming from.
It's the loyalty, disloyalty. Been with the shit toiletry. Beef with Crips warrior. I keep a 6 Sawyer in the mix, culinary. My whip game legendary. Mix cocaine with that cocaine. Profits necessary. Never snitch while kids get seduced by Miss Piggy. Say my Merca trill nigga wearing some skinnies. Claim real. Have you ever faced the L for a body? You know you didn't kill and didn't squill on anybody. Have your shirt been stained by the blood of homie slain? Niggas you play ball with, try imagining my pain. 10 weights, your man mom fingers you to blame. Sin without your influence, her son that never bang.
Hit that like button on your way in. Y'all see RDL. I thought I ain't been in the hood in 14 years. That's far longer than 35th. I don't know what they talking about.
I remember who I was, and going back where I started from. Don't look back, I'm gone. Better if you understand it like you feel where I'm coming from. If you understand it like
Yael, we already live. Jump on the link.
I suffer physical abuse. I'm no stranger to violence. Hung my forefathers on nooses. Cops harass without conscience. Fuck them bastards. Racial profile. Racial tensions arising. Not just SoCal. The Bay, Missouri. All protests. Where we go now. Lost hope. Find evidence suggests our children's education's inferior. Rich kids get the best. Might sound bitter. Truth is, all I want is success. For Junior and my sister kids. Sacrifice my last breath. Seeking progress and change. Maybe a permanent address. They'll call home knowing that worse. They have a workplace in West. Is it wrong being black or being born with less into a dysfunctional family? Bloodlines a train wreck.
Penny glasses, active shots, and diamonds.
Don't look back, I'm gone. I remember who I was, and going back where I started from. Don't look back, I'm gone. Better if you understand it like you feel where I'm coming from. If you understand it like you feel where I'm coming from. If you understand it like you feel where I'm coming from.
Hey, let me hear that second verse.
Light up, Do Sims. Go run that video up. Subscribe to Do Sims Vivo. You see a lot of reenactments from different scenes throughout my life that we had people acting, playing me. And those is all true stories. So pay attention to that video. You'll understand a little bit of what it feel like to walk in the gangster's chucks. But we got the content. Yael, come jump on that link. We up here, bro. So, Instagram, bro. Okay, well, this is what I'm gonna do for you because you so special, the Keyway pop star, right? What we gonna do is we gonna go to Damu Keyway Conversations because you run the IG page. So if he be in y'all DM thirsty and shit, now y'all know that's him and not me. I put it in the text chat. There you go. All right. Is we on? I'm just making sure that's good enough for you, sir. Maria home. Hey, we got 100 people in the chat. Let's hit that like button, subscribe, and we gonna get right into the content as soon as y'all come. Cause we want to make sure that he shout out the corporate sponsors. You know what I'm saying? And we gonna talk about what we got in oh, he here. My bad. Let me make sure I bring him on stage before I get cussed out. Yeah.
Damu Keyway Conversations.
Oh man, what it do?
And another hot live and Clubhouse. I know we finna go in. Good content, great content. Before we get into all that, man, listen. Y'all finna get some hot content. Make sure if you finna roll up top shelf, make sure you roll it up and unite it with United Color Wraps. That's unite your top shelf with United Color Wraps. Y'all finna get some hot content. We got berry, cherry, grape, banana, natural, apple. If I name it, flame it up with United Color Wraps, tobacco-less wraps and cones. That's United Color Wraps, tobacco-less wraps and cones. Salute to United Color Wraps for the sponsorship. Man, salute to Big U, man. We got the app up. We just need y'all to go ahead and transition over there. Download the Unique Music app where you're going to be able to distribute your music for free. Politic with the Damu Keyway Conversation teams, Do Sims, Diamond, That Girl Henny, and me, and everybody that's on Clubhouse that got them green beams on stage. Those are the mobs that's always on their job. Salute to the goo. Salute to you too, man. Salute to everybody that's in the chat too on Clubhouse. That's one of the hottest rooms on Clubhouse right now. And if you on live with us, we in the chat. Y'all know that's where it's at. We got the Blue Wrench mob. They always on their job too, man. And the Henny snipers. Salute to them. Hey, listen, some of the hottest content right now. Y'all dealing with the Damu Keyway Conversations live on YouTube and on Clubhouse. This is Damu Keyway Conversations.
Well, we're gonna start off with where it always start with a MF Live. So we're gonna stop sharing that and get right into the content. Cause somebody said they saved 7 Main Street Crips. I don't know how you can save 7 Main Street Crips from the law.
Hey, Lamonte, hey, I saved them and they saved. Hey, listen, I saved them and they saved me in the paperwork because they changed my name. Or, I mean, they changed the game. I mean, they changed it. They changed it.
They changed the name or the game? Because I heard, well, we'll get to that. Somebody's name was changed throughout the paperwork. And that's coming from a police officer that was some way investigated and or Reggie Wright Jr. And I dare Reggie Wright pork butt to not stand on it. You know what I'm saying? I dare you. You know what I'm saying? Whenever a police in his even a crooked police like Reggie Wright Jr., whenever a police officer, how you doing, Ella Rose? Good God Almighty, I see you, girl. But the police instinct tells him that he starts suspecting that WACK100 was an informant, so much so that he went and talked to Greg Caden and what's the other officer name? Diamond Dupree, right? Which is actually supposed to have been CS2 Back's handler. You know what I'm saying? And they lied for him. Obviously, he a 137. For those who don't understand what a confidential source 137 is, it's two kind of confidential sources. You got the informants that's going to testify if you go to trial and all of that. And then you got confidential sources 137 where The police and his handlers can't even reveal his identity to a judge. And that's what we're dealing with here when we talk about WACK100. So instead of boring y'all hit that like button, share, subscribe. If you haven't already done it, we're going to get into this.
Like, comment, subscribe.
Shit, that just justified everything.
What?
Right in my house, 40 agents, only to come up empty-handed. Let me tell you what's going on. This is why I'm so used to the hate. Dude already was on. He had Rolls Royces, Range Rovers, and all that shit. He was doing whatever he was doing. Dude that spoke on Shaq, he's completely right because I was caught up in the middle of all that. That's what stemmed it because Shaq cut dude out of the record deal that we did with Ray J, right? For their own personal reasons, it had nothing to do with me.
So Wack is telling me exactly what Mark Stevens, and y'all gonna hear from Mark Stevens, that they cut Stutterbox out of the deal for Ray J when he's the one that brought
the kicking the door, cuffed my wife, tear my house up. At that point in time, I filed a suit, a harassment suit, because you done came in my house on what pretense?
Where's the paperwork?
The pretense was I was living beyond my means.
He filed a suit. Where the paperwork?
So they looking at all the cars, all the houses, they looking at all the shit. But once they hit my motherfucking home office, that's when they called the search off. Because in the home office, he then discovered the house and cars and everything they thought was up under my name, that had that living beyond the means excuse to come in there, was all up under different corporations. I only make
that's bullshit right there.
Or that paperwork say ain't nothing wrong.
I know. Let me stop that for you because that's what I was finna do.
So when I filed a harassment suit,
go ahead.
That's bullshit. There is no law enforcement. I wouldn't give a damn if it's the feds, if it's the sheriff, if it's the LAPD. No law enforcement can go and get a fucking warrant signed by a judge for living beyond your means. Oh, that he balling too hard. He living behind his means. We gonna go tear his shit up. That's bullshit. There is no possible way they got a warrant to go and hit that man's house for living beyond your means.
Hold on. Well, let me stop sharing this because we could get right back into that. Just because, we got receipts, my nigga. We don't just say things like that. You ain't got a law degree, so people might not believe your credibility. But what they will believe is that. Can you read that, Diamond? Well, you ain't got your glasses on. Let me blow it up a little more. What that say?
No, living beyond your means is not a crime.
Oh, so 40 police raided WACK100 home and pulled him over in a truck and snatched him up for what he said was living beyond his means, which is not a crime, let alone enough to get the federal authorities, 40 of them, to raise your house. Okay, we gonna do that. We gonna get rid of that real quick and get back into the content and lies that he spewed. That's what he do. The courts just said that he has no credibility. We gonna reaffirm that today. Let's go.
Right? That's when dude came clean. Because at that point in time, I still didn't know coming from. Actually, I'm lying. When I got up to the top floor, we went to go get my personal belongings, me and my attorney. When I saw the two women with that FBI flag jackets come out, that Stutterbox would always invite to dinner when we was eating at Stevie's on the strip. That's when I knew what time it was. Only I wouldn't talk to the bitches because one thing you know about me, I think everybody the enemy. Right. Don't smile at me. Don't ask for my number. Nothing. I think you're trying to set me up anyway. That's just how I am. If I don't approach you, don't waste your time approaching me. So
Murder man, go ahead, bro.
I start putting one and one together, right? What they end up doing, if you watch that movie, they show a scene depicting the truck driver getting pulled over. That's me. They find magazines in the back. They get so mad because they fucked up the taxpayer money, 300-some thousand. They go back and they catch him in a Lexus, and he try to get away, and he try to do like snatch a lady out the car and get away. They catch him. They end up sending him to the feds on whatever case they had on him to force him to start trying to tell on people. So that's what they do. They catch a nigga. All right, well, what you know? Or you going to jail. So then they got to feed him something that's bigger than them. And then that's how they stay out of jail. Long story short, it gets even deeper than that. The officer, Greg Caden, and Darren Dupree or some shit.
Yeah.
When we coming outside on the stairway, me and my attorney, they stop us. They say, look, man, we can't afford this harassment lawsuit you file. You know, I'm beyond the gated community. I'm claiming I'm embarrassed. I got to move my family. My wife is traumatized. She kicked my dough in. I'm putting extras on it, right?
Right.
They said, listen, man. They advised my attorney. My attorney said, look, dude said, drop the case and they owe you one. If you don't drop it, right, then you know what come with that. My attorney's talking to me. He know my...
The feds told him at the 64th floor, but he already filed a lawsuit. Mind you, I'm gonna gotta go get that thing to show y'all the dates that he that they raided his house, and then 2 days later he went and talked to the feds on the 64th floor. Speaking of CS2 back, he just pulled up on his burner account, Linda Rawls on what you call it. Stop stalking a gangster, bro. Keep admiring from afar. Get up out of here.
And say, you know how you are every day, so you don't really need that in your mix. So I said, well, listen, I don't need no motherfuckers hemming me up every day. We figured out as we figured out. I leave it like that. About 6 months go by, I look at the media, I see they got Shaq tied up. They're making accusations that Shaq paid the Main Street Crips to go kidnap this dude, Stutterbox. It wasn't at LA Lobby, it was on Sunset Boulevard, right? So they tied Shaq into it. Shaq had did videos with the Main Streets because Box was his dude. They using all this shit against him, saying he's tied into the gang culture and all this shit, blase, 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 right? I call my man Money Mark, right? Money Mark is Shaquille's left right-hand man, his business partner. I said, yo, Mark, check it out.
Did you just hear who he said he called? Money Mark. Mark Stevens. Shaquille O'Neal business partner. The exact same call that Mark Stevens confirmed was his on the federal wiretap, transcribed wiretap, which I'm going to show you guys. So he's admitting that he called Money Mark because he done got caught up. They done raided his house. He said Stutterbox told on him, so he's calling Money Mark. Let's go.
Call my attorney. Tell my attorney, I said, put you online with that federal officer. Have your attorney call that federal officer to the stand. But first tell him to call Box to the stand. You want him to do one thing and one thing only. Ask Box if he's a federal informant, documented. Everybody from LA is in the courtroom, he's gonna lie. Trust me, I know him, he's gonna lie. When that happens, I'm giving you a jewel because Shaq looked out for me. Right? I don't need this favor, so I'm passing it to you. Have your attorney.
So who looked out for him? Shaq. Shaquille O'Neal looked out for him. Oh, wait till we get to the good shit. This is everything in the paperwork.
Attorney, call this Greg Cadence in, have him take the stand, and then let him tell the judge and present the documents he had, the fingerprints, all the paperwork, the payments they've been paying this dude every month to show that this dude is a federal informant. At that point in time, Box has perjured himself on the stand. Whatever allegations against Shaq and anybody else tied to the case, they got to kick it out. I lay back. Money Mark calls my attorney. Money Mark calls my attorney. My attorney called me. I said, yeah, give him that information. That favor they owe me, let them use it. He need it. I don't need it. Because they got Shaq in the trick bag. You can go to Google. That shit is still on Google. They do all that. Sure enough, he get up there, Box under oath, denies it, all this. They call Greg Cadence in the motherfucker. Greg Cadence come in with his file, hands it to the judge. The judge open it up. I guess, I don't know, it's some type of contract you sign when you signing up for these type of things, formal programs or whatever. Judge looks at it, calls, make sure it's authentic, throws the case out. Not only does Shaq walk, but all the Main Street Crips walk too.
So let me speak to that real quick. I'm just a lay litigator. I'm not a lawyer. Never took the bar past the bar. But one thing I do understand is just because someone tells one lie about something in a court of law, that they're not going to just dismiss the case. There'll be arguments. They might move for the court as to act as a hostile witness for perjury and get some instructions from the judge. But they could be lying about one fact and have the truth and tell the truth about other facts. This happens every day in court. So if you've never been through a trial, if you don't realize what's going on, he's feeding them a whole bunch of horse manure. Let's go.
Out of court. That's how that happened.
All right then.
Damn, Wack, you the one that saved Shaq then.
I saved
right. I was about to say
and
that.
all the main streets. Just real shit. Just real shit. A lot of shit I don't talk about.
Wrapped up in that shit.
Yeah, there's real shit. A lot of shit I don't talk about, but that's just real stuff. A dude to come in, that's why I'm like, my nigga, listen. I'm used to motherfuckers attacking my credibility and all that. That's cool. I'm used to motherfuckers being mad about what's real. That's cool. I tend to catch the flack because I speak on shit or I know how to read and comprehend because I'm reading some paperwork or I'm reading a document that may be by a certain individual. They don't look at the individual it's about. They get mad at me saying, well, your platform is big and you use your platform to read it. Well, that's selective politics and that's cool. But that's just how that works. I've been on 23 years.
So that's enough for that one. You know what I'm saying? You want to speak on this, before I go to this next video? Yael ain't with us. I knew he wasn't. I knew he was gonna do this shit. Diamond, you want to speak on it real quick while I get this other content?
Yeah, man. For him to say that,
7 keyways.
For him to say that he was owed a favor by the police, that's wild in itself.
Right.
What did you go to the 64th floor, as you said yourself, and telling people?
Some powerful, strong shit.
If you going up here to just pick up your property, you will go to the desk, pick up they will call down whoever's going to bring your shit down to you, and you're going to walk from right there at the desk. You go up to the 64th floor with your lawyer, y'all sitting in the room,
talk about something.
Y'all going to talk about some shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You could piss on my head and tell me it's rain if you want to. You know what I'm saying?
Like we ain't been
out your motherfucking mind. Yeah, you out your mind. You went up there to the 64th floor with your lawyer. You know what I'm saying? You went to go talk about it.
Then, yeah, he went up there and then he ended up bringing Greg Caden on the thing once I bring the paperwork. But let's go to this since he talking about he saved 7 Main Street Crips, right? He know who's the informant. He talked to the police. He filed a lawsuit. Where's the link in the paperwork to the civil suit you filed? Let's go. Shout out to Los Scandalous Los Angeles TV.
West Coast tripping, time keeps on slipping. West Coast tripping, time keeps on slipping.
WACK100, whose real name is Cash Jones, is a music industry executive, manager, and entertainment personality. He has been involved in the hip-hop industry and has managed several artists. WACK100 is also known for his outspoken nature and has been involved in various controversies and public disputes. Managers and label heads get things done, and Wack assumes those roles for artists like Game and Blueface. But Wack's controversial comments, like his recent thoughts on Mark Stevens and Big U, have taken precedence in the news cycle. WACK believes the media's focus on the controversy is par for the course for him, a 46-year-old formerly incarcerated Pacoima, California native who says he was the first minor in the California state prison system at just 16. He came home in 1999, learned about the music game through working security for former Compton police officer Reggie Wright Jr., and propelled himself into an increasingly important position in the music industry. WACK is a frequent user of Clubhouse, where he single-handedly birthed an ecosystem of YouTube pages that screen record the arguments he has with everyone, from Spider-Loc to Jim Jones. The blogosphere thrives off negativity, and his most fiery moments feed that hunger, which fuels a perception that he's naturally contentious. He's been condemned by some for moments like his live-streamed argument with former Blueface artist Chrisian Rock, or his taboo opinions of artists like Tupac and Nipsey Hussle. A few months ago, WACK took to Clubhouse to enlighten his listeners and inform them about his hidden involvement in the high-profile lawsuit that accused Shaquille O'Neal and 7 Main Street Mafia Crips of kidnapping and extorting Robert Ross, aka Stutterbox. WACK stated that he reached out to LAPD Detective Greg Kading to orchestrate a play that would free Shaq and the main streets. We also reached out to Detective Kading, as we were interested in hearing the details in his words. I'll let WACK tell the story first. Then we'll hear what Greg has to say in response.
The officer Greg Kading and Darren Dupree or some shit.
Yeah.
When we coming outside on the stairway, me and my attorney, they stop us. They say, look, man, we can't afford this harassment lawsuit you file. You know, I'm beyond the gated community. I'm claiming I'm embarrassed. I got to move my family. My wife is traumatized. She kicked my dough in. I'm putting extras on it, right?
Right.
They said, listen, man. They advised my attorney. My attorney said, look, dude said, drop the case and they owe you one. If you don't drop it, right, then you know what come with that. My attorney's talking to me. He know my personal business and say, you know how you are every day. So you don't really need that in your mix. So I said, well, listen, I don't need no motherfuckers hemming me up every day. We figured out as we figured out. I leave it like that. About 6 months go by, I look at the media. I see they got Shaq tied up. They're making accusations that Shaq paid the Main Street Crips to go kidnap this dude, Stutterbox. It wasn't at LA Live, it was on Sunset Boulevard, right? So they tied Shaq into it. Shaq had did videos with the Main Streets because Box was his dude. They using all this shit against him, saying he's tied into the gang culture and all this shit, blase, 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 right? I call my man Money Mark, right? Money Mark is Shaquille's right-hand man, his business partner. I said, yo, Mark, check it out. Call my attorney. Tell my attorney, I said, put you online with that federal officer. Have your attorney call that federal officer to the stand. But first tell him to call Box to the stand. You want him to do one thing and one thing only. Ask Box if he's a federal informant, document it. Everybody from LA is in the courtroom, he's gonna lie. Trust me, I know him, he's gonna lie. When that happens, I'm giving you a jewel because Shaq looked out for me, right? I don't need this favor, so I'm passing it to you. Have your attorney call this Greg Kading in, have him take the stand, and then let him tell the judge and present the documents he have, fingerprints, all the paperwork.
Hey, I can't take no more. Real quick, hey, Diamond, if I told you, hey, look, the police owe me a favor, and I don't need the favor, so I'm passing it to you. Call this police officer. What you?
That shit sound crazy as a motherfucker.
Don't let me walk away from the spot if I tell you that in the spot. Let's go.
The payments they've been paying this dude every month to show that this dude is a federal informant. At that point in time, Box has perjured himself on the stand. Whatever allegations against Shaq and anybody else tied to the case, they got to kick it out. I lay back. Money Mark calls my attorney. I called my attorney. My attorney called me. I said, yeah, give him that information. That favor they owe me, let them use it. He need it. I don't need it. Because they got Shaq in the trick bag. You can go to Google. That shit is still on Google. They do all that. Sure enough, he get up there, box under oath, denies it, all this. They call Greg Cadence in the motherfucker. Greg Cadence coming with his file, hands it to the judge. The judge open it up. I guess, I don't know, it's some type of contract you sign when you signing up for these type of things, formal programs or whatever. The judge looks at it, calls, makes sure it's authentic, throws the case out. Not only does Shaq walk, but all the Main Street Crips walk through that day out of court. That's how that happened.
All right then.
Damn, Wack, you the one that saved Shaq then.
I saved
Right, I was about to say
and
that.
all the main streets. Just real shit.
Okay, all of that is absolute bullshit, except for the fact we met him at his lawyer's office. We sat down. We said, "Here's the deal, man. We've had this case against you. We came up empty-handed. Sorry that you got caught in the middle of this."
Wait, he said that they met where? With his lawyer?
All right then.
Damn, Wack, you the one that saved Shaq then.
I saved
Right, I was about to say
and
that.
all the main streets. Just real shit.
Okay, all of that is absolute bullshit, except for the fact we met him at his lawyer's office. We sat down. We said, "Here's the deal, man. We've had this case against you."
Did any of y'all catch that? WACK100 is known on the internet, admits that he went and met them on the 64th floor. But here, Greg Cadence saying that he's lying. He didn't save 7 Main Street Crips. Officer Greg Cadence says WACK100 lied about helping Shaq in the 7 Main Street Crips. And he said he went and talked to Wack at his lawyer's office. Why is he lying? When Wack already told him that he went to the 64th floor. So we know that Greg Cadence gonna lie for him. Let's go.
We came up empty-handed. Sorry that you got caught in the middle of this. Somebody put your name out there. We didn't know any better, so we followed. We gave the fucking Stutterbox the benefit of the doubt. Here we are. Was there an apology? I don't know. It's my style to kind of apologize. Sorry you had to go through this, but nonetheless, it is what it is. The idea of suing us, fucking bullshit. Us having an agreement like we owe you one. Bullshit. The idea of him having anything to do with the trial of when Stutterbox went to testify and the thing fell apart. Cash had absolutely nothing to do with any of that. So he's just taking all of these pieces of information and putting them together like he was the puppet master. It's all absolute bullshit.
There you have it. The lying pig himself, Greg Cadence. We still haven't heard from his handler, Dupree. He's not a public figure. But this ignites a response from the victim and snitch, Stutterbox, Robert Ross. Let's go. Oh, we got it muted.
Before you open your mouth.
Let's go.
Man, what's up with it, man? I've been wanting to check something, but you always got to be thinking, man, before you open your mouth. Especially if you really thinking about moving, you feel me? It should be silence and violence. I want to speak on this dude keep kicking my name. I told this nigga I'ma drown his ass, homie, on Main Street. I'ma drown, cuz. Let me tell you how I meet this clown, man. This nigga all in my paperwork, man. The nigga say box. The nigga Suge won't put me on, homie. I've been fucking with this dude for a couple years. I said, all right, homie. Since you my neighbor, I'ma fuck with you. The nigga begged me to put him with game. Begged me to put him with Chuck. Holla at Chuck for me, box. Holler at Ray J for me, Box. They both told me 6 times, no, no, no. I say, homie, they don't want to fuck with you. Box, they'll do it for you if you tell them to do it for you. Okay, homie. Chuck, do it for me, man. And if Cuz fuck up, I'll come over there and move Cuz out your camp myself. Chuck said, Box, you got me? I said, Cuz I got you. Changed Cuz life, man. He ain't looked back. In the meantime, I'm going through some politicking with my neighborhood. You know, not finna kick no names. Rest in peace to the G homie. You ain't saved no homies, homie. You ain't changed my daughter diaper. My son don't call you. He just took a deal for 11 years. He on his way home. Don't nobody respect you. You are J. Edgar Hoover, nigga. You know, in trans, nigga. You the police. What really fucked me up is why I decided to let this buster ass nigga know I know what he did, right? The nigga called me one day and say, Box, I'm out in my truck. Where you at? I said, I'm at home, homie. He say, they own my wife at the mall. Look out for me. I grabbed the blicky, smash up there. I see his wife coming out the driveway. I see some dudes. They most likely probably trying to holler at her. I don't know, right? But they disrespecting her her movements. So I get them up off of them. I ain't gonna say what I did, but I got the niggas up off of them. Up off of her. Fast forward, I'll get to some gangster shit. Nigga almost killed me and my baby mama. Put like 20 holes in my Rolls Royce. See, but where I'm from, niggas beef, 3, 4 niggas, 5 niggas get killed, and niggas squash it. This old buster ass nigga from the valley, since hanging around me, he know a few people I know. He trying to reach out to the nigga behind my back to give the nigga my address, because we stay across the street from each other. Like,
so Wack and Stutterbox live across the street with each other. He said he having hood politics with the dude, the boogeyman in his hood. Rest in peace, Deldo, right? He said, now you can hear what happens now.
Catacorn. This damn near 20 years ago, though. This nigga keep kicking my name, infatuated, but he's a homosexual after 20 years. Wack, you know I'm gonna drown your ass on Main Street. I'm gonna drown your ass. First chance I get. I can see how, no disrespect to Nip, cuz, but I can see how a nigga drown a nigga then turn back and kick him in their motherfucking face on Main Street. But anyway, I call Wack. My Rolls Royce gets shot up. My girl almost get killed. I lay on top of her. We make it up out of there. Wack see the bullet holes in my car the next day. He reaching out, trying to contact the nigga who supposed to be the boogeyman. I know where the nigga live at, behind my back. It's in the paperwork. All on wiretap. That's why you're...
He said that Wack gave up the address to the boogeyman and told him, I know where he live at, and it's all on the wiretap. Let's go.
House got ready, you bitch ass nigga. You conspiracy to commit murder, nigga. You buster ass nigga. But let me tell you how it play out. I call cuz, like, cuz, it's 3 niggas sitting in front of your house, cuz. Is these your homies, Wack? Oh, no, Box, I know who that is. I jet fuel out the house with the fully. Then niggas probably almost shot each other trying to pull off. You feel me? Almost shot each other. If I know what I knew now, I would have jumped over their car, cuz, ran across the lawn, kicked in Wack door, and killed cuz on Main Street, on Mafia. You's a buster, nigga. You the police. You got the homie. You know, every real nigga that came into your life, me first, you crossed me. Big U second, you crossed him. Wacko, you crossed him. You talk about Game behind his back. You talk about Lil Jon behind his back. You talk about Ray J. You's a bitch, nigga. And you know, it's like, you know, Like Malcolm has said, when a chicken come home to roost, it's all mafia, cuz. It's all mafia. A nigga holler at you, homie. You know, you police ass nigga talking about nigga, the first code of conduct is you don't talk to the police. Nigga, you is the police, nigga.
Now he said WACK100 said the first code of conduct is you don't talk to police. WACK100 said the first code of conduct is you don't talk to police. But he just told us a whole story where he went to the 64th floor 2 days after they raided his house, searched his truck, got him on wiretap, conspiracy to murder, Stutterbox accusation by giving the boogeyman Stutterbox address, and then they shoot up his Rolls Royce, almost 20 shots. I think it might have been 17, 18,
but
about
don't
20 shots, right?
Don't overlook the fact that Stutterbox said the conspiracy to commit murder is why they raided his house. CS2 Back was very, very adamant about the reason they raided his house is because he was living above his means.
Right.
So you tell me, who's lying?
Right. So Wack even admitted that they shot up his car and he's seen the shots and all of this stuff. But remember that. First code of conduct is not to talk to the police. But you went on the 64th floor and you talked to the police. So we want to know, we want you to bring that statement and let us know what you said to them, because you weren't supposed to talk to the police. But you went to the 64th floor and you talked to him with your lawyer. So we want to know what you said. Let's get into this.
Officer Wack, snitch ass 100, buster ass nigga.
So that's it for that. We're going to stop sharing that and we're going to get right into the next one. I told y'all we going through a marathon today, right? Let's go.
Yo, it's Duff for the Cloud Chaser TV, man. We back up in this thing again, you dig?
WACK100, most famously known for arguing on Clubhouse and exposing snitches and often fake paperwork on rappers like Jim Jones, 21 Savage, and even OGs out west like Big U, has been exposed as a confidential informant according to paperwork produced by his defendants, Robert Ross, also known as Stutterbox, and Shaquille O'Neal's business partner Mark Stevens. In order to clearly understand how WACK100 came to snitch by wearing a wiretap, we must first examine this case by basketball legend Shaquille O'Neal and the Main Street Mafia Crips out in Los Angeles. Lawsuit. Shaq told me to kill people. Shaquille O'Neal requested and directed his former friend to kill several people, including a gang member, a record producer, and a woman he impregnated. Those are the shocking allegations in a new lawsuit. Shaq's former pal Robert Ross, an ex-gang member, is suing O'Neal for allegedly masterminding a plot to have him kidnapped by other gang members back in 2008. So how is WACK100 involved in this case? And how do we know he was an informant? It's simple. You look at the paperwork and or talk with the individuals directly involved in the case. That's exactly what we did. In order to get to the truth, there are 3 individuals from the case we need to look at. WACK100, Robert Ross, also known as Stutterbox, and Shaq's business partner Mark Stevens. First up is Stutterbox, the man at the center of the wiretap on which WACK100 is exposed as a confidential source.
Stutterbox, what up? Can you hear?
Oh, what's up, homie?
What's going on? Salute, Stutterbox.
An opportunity for you to voice it. And it's ironic, it's the same day that we get the story from Mark Stevens, who said that this dude is running campaigns against people, especially Big U. He's mad because once Big U found out from Mark Stevens that he was cooperating on the Main Street case, that he couldn't fuck with him no more. He's afraid that Big U would expose him. You know what I'm saying? And you said in a video that not only did you not tell on WACK100 and send him in his house when he got raided, but you said that you heard an audio with him on a wiretap conspiring to murder. Could you expand on that for me, bro?
I said, police ass nigga, talking about, nigga, the first code of conduct is you don't talk to the police. Nigga, you is the police, nigga. Officer Wack, snitch ass 100. It should be silence and violence. This dude keep kicking my name. I told this nigga I'm gonna drown his ass, homie. On Main Street, I'm gonna drown. I decided to let this buster ass nigga know I know what he did, right? I'll get to some gangster shit. Nigga almost killed me and my baby mama, put like 20 holes in my Rolls Royce. Make it up out of there. Wack see the bullet holes in my car the next day. He reaching out, trying to contact the nigga who supposed to be the boogeyman. I know where the nigga live at, behind my back. It's in the paperwork. All on wiretap. That's why your house got raided, you bitch ass nigga. You conspiracy to commit murder, nigga. You buster ass nigga. But let me tell you how it play out. Call cuz. It's 3 niggas sitting in front of your house, cuz. Is these your homies, Wack? Oh, no, Box. I know who that is. I just flew out the hospital fully. Them niggas probably almost shot each other trying to pull off. Almost shot each other. If I know what I knew now, I would have jumped over their car, cuz, ran across the lawn, kicked in Wack door, and killed cuz on Main Street. His house got raided because he was on the wiretap. With Dog, you know?
Right.
The homie not here no more. Rest in peace to the G homie. I wish Dog was here to address this himself. You feel me?
Right.
But I'll enlighten y'all on different things. What is it exactly you want to clear out? And I air it out, clear it out, however it got to go.
So on the video, when you said something about conspiracy to murder, what actually did you hear on audio of WACK100 that the feds had, but haven't charged him for conspiring to murder?
He allegedly gave Dog my address, homie. And I told you that they was in front of my house. So somebody gave him the address. If I get killed, whoever gave him the address gonna get conspiracy to murder. But if I don't get killed, they just get conspiracy to attempted murder because they shot up my Rolls Royce, put 17 holes in my Rolls Royce. Whoever passed the baton. So it's a question mark there, homie. You know, we from the streets. We know that.
Right.
Stutterbox. So how about this? When have you had any conversations with Mark Stevens after, you know, all this happened?
Yeah. Mark, my Muslim brother, homie.
Okay.
I love the brother. I talked to him probably last week.
We glad that we got that cleared up because it shows how much he lied and how he's trying to get out in front of this story that he knew was coming. And that's the interview with Mark Stevens exposing that he was confidential source to back on the Main Street indictment.
A day after this interview with Stutterbox dropped.
Real quick, Jamie Cosby, go on Instagram at Active Chucks and DM me and let me know, and we gonna work it out. Let's go.
Confirming that WACK100 was caught on a wiretap with a conspiracy to commit murder, yet never going to jail for it. Wack decides to call up Stutterbox himself on a recorded phone line.
Let's play Stutterbox talking to Wack. This is what I'm trying to figure out, though, Box. Help me understand this, because me and you both know that whole case was your thing. What is Mark saying I had to do with the case, bro?
Wack, listen, in the paperwork, it said you tried to call Dog, remember?
I tried to
and he
call
won't take your call. And I sent it to you. And he said,
I talked to Dog.
But he said he didn't talk to you. He wouldn't take your call. But they said he wouldn't talk. Yeah, and Dog said he was cool. He didn't want to talk to you in the paperwork.
Mark
That's what you said is going off of what.
That whole Main Street shit, that was your play. I had nothing to do with it. I was a victim.
Because they said when Dog called you, his phone was hit. That's how they got on your line.
No.
And you play. That's what they say, what?
Let's rewind that a little bit.
As you can.
I want y'all to catch what he said.
They want to talk to you.
He said, what is they saying?
That whole case was your thing. What is Mark saying I had to do with the case, bro?
Wack, listen, in the paperwork, it said you tried to call Dog, remember?
I tried to
and he
call
won't take
Dog.
your call. And I sent it to you. And he said,
I talked to Dog.
But he said he didn't talk to you. He wouldn't take your call. But they said he wouldn't talk. Yeah, and Dog said he was cool. He didn't want to talk to you in the paperwork.
Mark
That's what you said is going off of what.
That whole Main Street
This is what Duke Sims is going on.
I had nothing to do with it. I was a victim.
Because they said when Dog called you, his phone was hit. That's how they got on your line.
No.
And you play. That's what they say, what?
No.
As you can see by now in this first part, Stutterbox clearly implicates WACK100 into this case, not only in an interview with Deuce M's and Stats 280, but also right to WAC's face on the recorded phone call. In part 2 of this video, let's take a look at the actual paperwork from the case, which exposes WACK100 as a confidential source in the Main Street Mafia Crips case. For this breakdown of the paperwork, we turn to rapper Deuce M's, who is responsible for exposing the paperwork to the world.
Big M told you niggas now. Bitch hit your brimming. Bitch hit your all my homies feel it, bitch hit your brimming. Things in Luke Sims in the West Side FHN into the building. Back to the money after 10 years in.
We finna get into the paperwork. The paperwork is a transcript of a wiretap. And once I get into this paperwork, you can understand that that was one of the names that the Bears used for confidential source number 2. So that WACK also says CS2. That CS2, for those who don't understand law, is code word for confidential source. All right, we're gonna go ahead and end that one. And we finna pull this one up and get into it. Y'all hit that like. We got 350 people in the chat. Big Messy Moore, what's bragging? Big homie, triple OG, double OG.
What it do, keeping it true. Salute.
Conversations. All right, let me put this video on so I can get back active in the chat. Y'all, I hope you active in the chat. Your device is not connected, brother. So you need to connect your device for me to put you back on. Let's go.
Yo, it's Duff for the Cloud Chaser TV, man.
Previously in part 1, we found out from Robert Ross, also known as Stutterbox, a Main Street Mafia Crip and WACK100's neighbor, that WACK100 or CS2 back got his house raided for getting caught on a wiretap on a conspiracy to commit murder.
What is it exactly you want to clear out? And I air it out, clear it out, however it got to go.
On the video, when you said something about conspiracy to murder, what actually did you hear on audio of WACK100 that the feds had, but haven't charged him for conspiring to murder?
His house got raided because he was on the wiretap with Dog. You know, he allegedly gave Dog my address, homie. If I get killed, whoever gave him my address gonna get conspiracy to murder. But if I don't get killed, they just get conspiracy to attempted murder because they shot up my Rolls Royce, put 17 holes in my Rolls Royce.
Let's play Stutterbox talking to WACK.
This is what I'm trying to figure out, though, Box. Help me understand this, because me and you both know that whole case was your thing. What is Mark saying I had to do with the case, bro?
Like, listen, in the paperwork, it said you tried to call Dog, remember?
I tried to
and he
call
wouldn't take
Dog.
your call. And I sent it to you. Saying he didn't talk to you. He wouldn't take your call. Dog said he was cool. He didn't want to talk to you in the paperwork.
Mark
That's what you said is going off of what
that whole Main Street shit, that was your play. I had nothing to do with it. I was a victim.
Because they said when Dog called you, his phone was hit. That's how they got on your line.
No.
And you play. That's what they say, what?
No.
As you can see by now in this first part, Stutterbox clearly implicates WACK100 into this case, not only in an interview with Deuce M's and Stats 280, but also right to WACK's face on the recorded phone call. In part 2 of this video, let's take a look at the actual paperwork from the case, which exposes WACK100 as a confidential source in the Main Street Mafia Crips case.
We finna get into the paperwork. The paperwork is a transcript of a wiretap. And once I get into this paperwork, you gonna understand that that was one of the names that the Bears used for confidential source number 2. So that WACK also says CS2. That CS2, for those who don't understand law, is code word for confidential source. But once I get into this paperwork, you're going to understand that that was one of the names that the Bears used for confidential source number 2. So Tiny Draws told that nigga, you on paperwork, nigga. Yo, what's up, Bat? What's up, Bat? And didn't nobody understand why he was calling him back.
You lying. Are you dumb or something?
How young back?
Go ask your uncle if he didn't see my daughter.
How young back? Let's talk about a little back.
Who's back? I don't know.
You know who back is.
I don't know.
You know exactly who back is, nigga.
I don't know who that nigga is.
You know exactly who Back is. Stop playing these games, nigga.
Who that nigga is.
You know about Marky Mark. You know about Stutterbox. You know about Dale Dog Back. Stop playing these games, nigga. Stop playing these weird ass games, nigga. Yeah, stop playing these games, nigga.
Hold on, what Stutterbox got to do with something?
Yeah, you.
Hey, what Stutterbox?
Man,
got to
put that on Pyro.
But
Put that on Pyro. That's gonna be another story we gonna talk about later.
What Stutterbox got to do with something?
He got. I'm talking about that paperwork, nigga. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
You saying I'm on paperwork,
bro? Am I lying? Put that on Pyro. You not.
Wax on paperwork.
Put that on Pyro. You not.
Put that on 6-0 Wax on paperwork.
Crip, nigga. You on paperwork. Put that on Pyro. You not.
Put that on.
Man, put that on Pyro that you not on that case.
Produce it.
Put that on Pyro that you not on that case.
You know I'm the one got told on.
Put that on Pyro. You didn't make statement.
So Tiny Draw said that the nigga name was Back and that he was on paperwork. Well, the paperwork is a transcript of a wiretap, and it's from Dale from Mainstream Mafia case, rest in peace. So we goes to the first page, and it has the session 18202. This is the wiretap, date and time 8/5/2008 through 9/22/38 to 9/29/39. Duration for 7 minutes, 1 second. This is the Feds breakdown. Dale tells Stevens that your boy Box, referring to Stutterbox, we can all agree to that, right? Went south. Back wants Dale's phone number. Back needs to talk to Dale. It's important. Back whack, right? But it also says CS2 back. CS2, for those who don't understand law, is code word for confidential source. Number 2.
At some point, you get a phone call from WACK100, Cash Jones. What did he contact you concerning?
He wanted to reach out to Dale Dog, rest in peace. I got the whole transcript, of the whole wiretap. Lawyers that was involved, they was able to get the discovery.
But when you get the discovery, was part of that the actual wiretap? Do you see your conversation with Cash Jones in them transcripts?
Paperwork, they put him as Back. B-A-C-K. I kept asking the lawyer, like, who the fuck is? I ain't talked to no Back. And they said, nah, that's Wack. But they put him as Back because he a blood.
Was this Back also referred as confidential source number 2?
Yes, sir.
So you get into Dale talks about Box incident and Back wanting to talk to Dale. Wack wanted to talk to Dale Dog. Mafia talk and someone talking too much. Box with a question mark. Sound like Back, which is Wack, has info on Stutterbox and talking about phone lines being compromised. So Wack is wanting to talk to Dale Dog, so he goes through the Mafia's talk, who we gonna use as Mafia talk for this, not to involve nobody else, right? He tell Mafia talk, look, I need to talk to Dale Dog. That nigga Stutterbox went bad. Well, Wack knows Stutterbox because that's his neighbor. In fact, that's how Wack even know Dale Dog. So the only way you would know that the wires is tapped, and the only way that you would know that Stutterbox had went bad, nigga, is if you done went and talked to them people. Wack admitted that he did go talk to them people on the 64th floor.
Raided my motherfucking crib, didn't find nothing. Cut my wife up, searching, going through everything. They ain't found nothing. When I went down to the federal building with my attorney to get my shit they took out of my office, every bitch was on that floor with FBI flak jackets on. That's the first thing I saw. I'm like, damn.
It goes into saying Box punked the game. 2 messages on Mark's phone. Mark is involved on the gang business and operations. Duke. Back is calling on another line to Mark. It says, hit me about 3 times. He want me to give you a number, so I'm calling to clear with you first before. So Dale Dog was like, I'm cool on that, brother. Right? Nigga, he don't even want Wack to know his number. So the nigga Mafia, he come back and say, oh, okay, you don't want? All right, so you don't want to do no hollering, all right. He said, what's up with you though, man? Dale Dog changed the subject. So the dude Mafia style say, what we'll talk, man, you know, I just need to know, man, you when I talk to Back, which is WACK100, I'm just gonna tell that nigga, man, oh man, well, you know, homie, you been on the phone with
dude and, you know, like basically you've been on the phone with Stutterbox and, you know, like, you know what? I'm saying you're right, man. No telling what lies he told a nigga on the phone. You know what I'm saying? So they already own Stutterbox and WACK100. And then also this Del Dog. And then when you call the dude, you make the dude talk about certain stuff on the horn, you know? You know that's what they got going on. He talking about Stutterbox and WACK100 got that going on. I ain't got no time for this dude. So then Mafia Style say, I mean, you know that's good information. See, now I know how to, like I said, I ain't helping the Wackboy in a minute. The Wackboy in a minute.
I talk to dog.
Hey. Hey, y'all. That nigga said I talked to dog. But in the midst of the conversation, just for those who are slow and can't keep up, this is from a federal wiretap, the same wiretap, transcribed wiretap Mark Stevens said that he had. How do you think we got it? The police detail what is summarizing what is the call is about. Confidential source 2 back makes a call to Mark Stevens. Just so we all correct, Yael and Diamond, who did the confidential source call? Who called Mark Stevens?
You said
it was Wack called Mark Stevens.
Right. Well, we just going by the paperwork right now. It said the confidential source 2 back called Mark Stevens several times, left messages and all of this. At this point, he gets through. He says specifically, matter of fact, let me pull the paperwork up so we could go over this for y'all real quick. Hold on. We gonna break this shit down real quick so that y'all can see it, right? All right. Marvin Johnson, your device gotta get connected, and then I'll pull you up, sir. No, I think it's this one. Yeah, let's go. Boom. So here we go. So if you see, if anybody ain't muted up on Clubhouse, mute them up. If they come back off, send them to the goop. So let me blow this up because you really can't see it first. I'm sorry, Jay. We got to hide your comment so the people can see it. So Del Dog tells Stevens that your boy Box went sour. CS2 back wants Dale's phone number. CS2 back wants Dale's phone number. Back needs to talk to Dale. It's important. So it comes down to it. Mark Stevens hit me 3 times. He want me to give him your number. So I was calling to clear it with you first before I give him your number. He called me and Del Dog. I'm cool on that, brother. Mark Stevens. Oh, okay. So you don't want, all right. So you don't want to do no hollering? All right. Del Dog. What's up with you though, man? Mark Stevens. We'll talk, man. You know, I just need to know, man, when I talk to Back, I'm going to tell that nigga, man, oh man, well, you know, homie, you been on the phone with dude, and you know he been on the phone with who? Stutterbox, right? And Stutterbox, and you know what I'm saying? You right, man, no telling what lies he told a nigga on the phone, you know what I'm saying? Del Dog. And then, though, when you call the dude, you make the dude talk about certain things on the horn. You know that's what they got going on. Del Dog is telling Mark Stevens.
Hey, Lamonte, listen, I don't care about none of that. Hey, the paperwork is fake. You fake. Damu Keyway conversations.
So he say, you know that's what they got. Del Dog telling, making sure Mark Stevens, you know that's what they got going on. You know, try to get niggas to talk about certain stuff on the horn. When he say they, he's talking about who? Stutterbox, and confidential source 2 back. I ain't got no time for this dude, UI Mark Stevens. I mean, you know, that's good information. See, now I know how to, like I said, I didn't, you know, I ain't helping the Wackboy in a minute. You know what I'm saying? He called me out of the blue yesterday. Not yesterday, yeah, last night. Left me 2 messages and this morning, and I just need to know how to play it cool. You know what I'm saying? Del Dog, nigga probably said, man, nigga going to jail, you know? And he started laughing. I ain't helped the Wackboy in a long time. So the Wackboy called Mark Stevens to get in trying to get in contact with Del Dog. Who did they say at the beginning called Mark Stevens? CS2 back. So that's one page right there. And we're going to get into some more shit. Let's finish this video. Matter of fact, I'd rather do it like that. Let's go into this other page. Since we're into the paperwork, we'll go this way. Boom. So let's learn a little bit more about CS2. CS2 has provided reliable, historical. Now, this is involving a Main Street case. What was the biggest case in Main Street Crip history in LA? Well, it was this case. But he provided reliable historical information concerning the Main Street Mafia Crip organization. However, CS2 is only aware of certain aspects regarding the organization's criminal activities and narcotic distribution network. CS2 has no knowledge or information regarding the methods in which narcotics are being transported to the LA area and distributed to the Main Street Mafia Crip gang members. Additionally, CS2 is unable to provide information regarding the narcotic customers, flow of narcotic proceeds, and methods that they are using to laundering their narcotic proceeds. CS2 is only able to identify a limited number of Main Street Mafia Crip gang members. CS2 is unable to provide specific information regarding the organization's extortion activities, methods of monetary collections. Make sure you hey bro, mute up, we live. You can get to that later on. Hey, if people come off they mute, make sure y'all shoot them. CS2 is only able to identify a limited number of Main Street Mafia Crip gang members. CS2 is unable to provide specific information regarding the organization's extortion activities, methods of monetary collections, and distribution of proceeds. CS2 is also unable to provide any information regarding the Main Street Mafia Crip Association. Damn, that's a lot of shit a snitch can't provide no information from. Let you know that he don't really have that close ties like that to these guys. So let's stop sharing. Boom. All right. And then we're going to go back over here. And we're going to go back into the video real quick. And we'll get back to some more paperwork later on. How about that? Because we got the content. Hit that like button, share, subscribe if you have. You know what I'm saying? He called me out of the blue yesterday. Not yesterday, yeah, last night. Left me 2 messages. And this morning. And I just need to know how to play it cool. You know what I'm saying? Nigga probably said, man, nigga going to jail, you know? Laugh. The nigga got to laugh. So that's the first page. Hold on, we ain't finished. We got some more shit that's gonna talk about that. Or confidential source number 2, aka WACK100. Go to the next page with other leaders of the Lawrence Gang organization. CS2 is able to provide limited information regarding violent assaults committed by the mainstream mafia crip, including shootings, burglaries, and murders. Confidential source 2 is unwilling to testify in court against members of mainstream mafia crip because confidential source 2 is fearful of retaliation against confidential source 2 and or confidential source 2's family. Tiny Draws called that nigga back because he already has seen this, bro. That nigga wasn't capping, and he knew he could stand on that. WACK100 is confidential source number 2.
They put him as back. B-A-C-K. I kept asking the lawyer, like, I ain't talked to no back. And they said, nah, that's whack. But they put him as back because he a blood.
They say that he provided reliable information previously. The nigga say confidential source number 2 has provided reliable historical information concerning the mainstream mafia organization. However, confidential source 2 is only aware of certain aspects regarding the organization's criminal activity and narcotic distribution network. So he only know a little bit about how they move and work. Confidential source 2 has no knowledge or information regarding the methods in which narcotics are being transported to the Los Angeles area and distributed to mainstream mafia crip gang members. Additionally, confidential source 2 is unable to provide information regarding the narcotic customers, flows of narcotic proceeds, and methods that they are using to laundering their narcotic proceeds. Confidential source 2 is only able to identify a limited number of mainstream mafia crip gang members. Confidential source 2 is unable to provide specific information regarding the organization's extortion activities, methods of monetary collections and distribution of proceeds, because he ain't from Main Street. He only was dealing with the nigga Stutterbox. This nigga WACK100 been on paperwork. Confidential source number 2, aka Back, aka WACK100. He was the one calling the Main Street trying to get in contact with Del Dog, saying that Stutterbox told him. When Wack asked for the number, he refused. He told the homie, nah, nigga, this nigga been on the phone with him, nigga. That's how I met him through that nigga. If Stutterbox, and he could be a rat and all that, that don't mean he lying about WACK100 being on a wiretap talking about. I think we might have a special guest today. Hey, Jason Brown, I don't know who you is, but you from Main Street. And I definitely want you to be able to speak up on this. Let me see. I'm going to drop the link in the chat. You know what I'm saying? I know how much this hurt. He said, Mafia love, I hate this forever. Put a stain on the name. Blue love, Crip love, rest in peace to Del Dog. Most people that I knew in my generation, a lot of people called Del Dog the king of LA. So I dropped that down there, not for nobody else unless it's Henny or the brother Jason Brown. But let this play out while we wait on him, and then we'll get to the last video. Murder. That holds the same exact time as a murder, a life sentence. And if that's what you on wiretap for, and if that's what they came for you for, then how you out of jail?
Coming up in part 3, Deuce M's and Stats 280 speak exclusively with the last key remaining character in this case. And the person WACK100 directly calls on the wiretap according to the paperwork. Money Mark Stevens, in this bombshell interview, Shaq's business manager, Mark Stevens, exposes WACK100, a.k.a. Cash Jones, the former Death Row affiliate, and Pacoima Piru Blood, as a confidential informant for the FBI, with detailed, corroborating evidence and paperwork that leaves no doubt that WACK100 is, in fact, confidential source number 2, or CS2 back.
Damn, nasty work. Let's cut that off. Boom. And then we gonna go to this. And we got one short interview after this. And so just for those while y'all catching up, right? So you got 3 main characters in this case, right? Obviously, we couldn't get Shaq, but we got Shaq paperwork and a statement to the police, which I'll get into for y'all. I'm gonna make sure that y'all get that and we read that. Okay, Henny did want to come on. I sent the link, whatever. I told them to send you the link. Welcome. I hope you're enjoying yourself.
I am.
Okay, so you got three main players in this. That Del Dog is rest in peace. You got the victim, Robert Ross, aka Stutterbox, who allegedly was kidnapped off the Sunset Strip, snatched up out of his Rolls Royce, taken to a place in South Central Los Angeles where he was robbed, pistol whipped, and tortured, and told to go get the tape from a alleged sex tape of Shaquille O'Neal having sex with a woman outside of his marriage, right? A woman that wasn't his wife. He said he had the videotape, and TMZ is the one that would pay a lot of money for it. Coincidentally, when we get into the paperwork, y'all gonna learn that the person who actually delivered the message for Stutterbox in this extortion play, name is Cash Jones in the paperwork. And that's not just Mark Stevens who was telling the police who passed that message to Mark Stevens and Shaquille O'Neal. I don't know about y'all, but during Fed time, I learned that's called conspiracy to extortion. But Stutterbox in his statement said the exact same thing. And it's noted by the detective that it was congruent with the same story that they got from Stutterbox. So your device is not connected, Henny. You got to connect your device so I can pull you back up. So we talked to Stutterbox. Y'all heard his story. Little wishy-washy. Plus, he was also cooperating with the police. So that kind of like turns me off and makes me lessen the credibility he got. But he was very clear that WACK100 gave Del Dog his address, told them they knew where he lived. And shortly thereafter, his car with him and his wife in his Rolls Royce was shot up 20 times or something close to it, right? That's conspiracy to murder. We ain't even got to when they raided Wack House. What did they really find? Because we can't find none of that paperwork. The search warrant, the affidavit, and Greg Caden, the detective on it, made sure that I know that I don't have a right to it. It's not public record. And the reason it's not public record, because whatever he said on that 64th floor was related to an ongoing murder investigation. Well, I mean, Greg Caden and his partner, Dupree, who is WACK100's handler, they were investigating the Biggie murder, the Tupac murder, and check this out. If y'all don't remember, Stutterbox was also caught with an ID that said Amir Muhammad. He was also a suspect in the Biggie Small murder. This rabbit hole right here gets real deep. So you got the sheriffs and LAPD, because Stutterbox was kidnapped in West Los Angeles and West Hollywood. So you got the West Hollywood sheriffs. That's Detective Coed, and you'll see their names in the paperwork. Then you got Stutterbox being released to go get the tape and some more money. They demanded more money from him with the tape of Shaq, right? And he walks right in the 77 division of the Los Angeles Police Department. So they got an investigation going. The West Hollywood sheriffs got an investigation going, and unbeknownst to them, you had the federal wiretap. The feds were already on all of them for all of this type of stuff and other things. But I guess old boy from Main Street didn't want to come on, so we finna make sure we get y'all this content.
I got a question, something for everybody else to think about as well.
Go ahead.
Everything that WACK seems to do involves some type of federal something. You got this where the feds was looking into it. You got the RICO case where the feds are investigating that. And with the Keefe D bail bonds, they submitting false documentation, which is a federal offense, all these Fed crimes that are happening, and he's still out here, and people still don't question. They still questioning this CS2 back thing here. This was the first piece of content that came out that exposed him, and everybody still wants to think that this is made up, delusional content. But if you look at everything he's into, he talks about my name isn't on any of these cases, like he tried to say his name wasn't on the case with the game. But clearly, Priscilla going after both of them. He trying to say he don't have nothing to do with any of these cases that his clients are in. But yet, what the cases that do involve you, that do have your name on it, they're all Fed. But you still out here on these streets. You got clubhouse rooms that are being investigated or watched and listened to by the feds and local government. Because even in the Keefe D transcripts, it said that they listened to him on Clubhouse. So clearly everything he's doing is under investigation, but he's still walking around and nobody believes that he is an informant on some shape, form, or fashion.
Right. Well, you know, they got more excuses than a nigga going to jail, but they boss ain't going to jail. I can guarantee you that. He high power ratting. Screen TV News says, what about the statement David Austin made? The statement David Austin made. Well, that was Big U's alias, and the statement David Austin made was inadmissible in court. He's saying I should have never worked with Eddie Boy because Big U, David Austin, never waived his Miranda rights. So it's not admissible if he didn't waive his Miranda rights and you cannot prove that he told you that story. And I don't know where you from, Screen TV News. He definitely ain't from LA. I'm quite sure, right?
And not only did he not make the waive his Miranda rights, he said he never made that statement at all.
Right.
So it's his word against the police.
And now, let me ask you this, Diamond. I'm from South Central Los Angeles, right? You from South Central, right? Different sides. People politic a little different. If your homie didn't waive his Miranda rights and a pig who can lie and say, oh, Duke Sims told me that you did this, right? And if you bite it and give them the information, said, no, it was him that did it and this and this and that, they can utilize that. In that situation, how many times out of 10 do you got to give your homeboy benefit of the doubt with just his word against the pigs?
Shit, 10 out of 10. You know, because you got to understand, and back in them times, you talking about them as the Daryl Gates days. They doing all kind of foul shit.
Right. So that's your answer. What was his name? Screen TV News. I hope you report that. You got the right to share the truth. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, Deuce, we got a super chat, Deuce. We got a super chat.
Okay, let's get to it.
Let me read it real quick. Hey, super chat in the building. We got Shadia621 with let's get these likes up for the content. Chuck Diamond, Henny, salute, thumbs up with the $4.99 super chat. We appreciate it and everything that is given to the Domo Keyway Conversation team. Salute to y'all, man. Bless you and your family.
All right, we'll get back to it. Mute up. You got too much background noise, bro. We're going to get into this one, and then we're going to get into the paperwork. See, we showed y'all the wiretap. You know what I'm saying? That's what I first dropped. But let's get into this.
Yo, it's definitely Cloud Chaser TV, man.
In part 1 of this case, we learned from Robert Ross, also known as Studdabox, a Main Street Mafia Crip, and WACK100's introduction into the case, that WACK100 or CS2 Back's house got raided for getting caught on a wiretap on a conspiracy to commit murder, which he never went to prison for, according to the paperwork.
On the video when you said something about conspiracy to murder, what actually did you hear on audio of WACK100 that the feds had?
His house got raided because he was on the wiretap. He allegedly gave Dog my address, homie. If I get killed, whoever gave him my address gonna get conspiracy to murder. But if I don't get killed, they just get conspiracy to attempted murder because they shot up my Rolls Royce, put 17 holes in my Rolls Royce.
This is what I'm trying to figure out, though, Box. Help me understand this, because me and you both know that whole case was your thing. What is Mark saying I had to do with the case, bro?
Wack, listen, in the paperwork, it said you tried to call Dog, remember?
I tried to
And he
call
won't take
Dog.
your call. And I sent it to you because they said when Dog called you, his phone was hit. That's how they got on your line.
No.
And you play. That's what they say, what?
No.
As you can see by now in this first part, Stutterbox clearly implicates WACK100 into this case, not only in an interview with Deuce M's and Stats 280.
Hey,
On the recorded
you know how
phone
you
call.
know
In
they
part
got him?
2, we saw Deuce M's break down the paperwork with the transcript on which WACK.
What you say?
I said, you know how you know they got him? He go, no. If he was right and he knew he was right, you know motherfucking well, Wack would have blew up. Nigga, you got me fucked up. I ain't did that. Man, come on, homie.
He was stuttering like he was
No. Yeah.
WACK100 or CS2 back was caught red-handed as a confidential informant for the FBI with detailed corroborating evidence and paperwork that leaves no doubt that WACK100 is in fact confidential source number 2 or CS2 back.
The paperwork is a transcript of a wiretap. And once I get into this paperwork, you're going to understand that back was one of the names.
Hey, if y'all see that comment, shout out Anthony Rafferty. They called him the Wackboy, which is where back came from. I don't know. I heard Mark Stevens, and you're going to hear him say that when the lawyers gave him the discovery and the transcribed wiretaps, that they believe that they knew it was Cash Jones, WACK100, but they believe the reason they called him back was because he was a blood. Maybe he talking it, blood, bicking it, bowl, all Birio, drinking some bobo and all of the extras that the Bloods do. Maybe it's called back because he got that grandma booty all on his back. Or maybe it's because they knew they listened to the wiretaps and they know he like 3 fingers in his ass. Who knows? But where the back part came from, but that's what they was calling him. When they said the Wack Boy, that was Mark Stevens saying, I haven't helped the Wack Boy in a long time. So that's like me saying I helped the Ya Boy in a long time because I'm trying to talk in code and not necessarily say his name. So I'm not sure exactly where it came from, but we do know that, and we'll let Mark Stevens tell you. Let's go. But great point.
The feds use for confidential source number 2. So that Wack also says CS2 back. CS2, for those who don't understand law, is code word for confidential source. WACK100 being on a wiretap talking about conspiracy to murder. That holds the same exact time as a murder, a life sentence. And if that's what you on wiretap for, and if that's what they came for you for, then how you out of jail?
In part 3, Deuce M's and Stats 280 speak exclusively with the last key.
Bro, I never heard that before. Anthony Rafferty, he said constituents called him Wackboy behind his back. That might be it, bro. Because that's what Mark Stevens called him, the Wackboy. Let's go.
Remaining character in this case. And the person WACK100 directly calls on the wiretap according to the paperwork. Money Mark Stevens. In this bombshell
LA shot caller, I think
business
because
manager Mark Stevens exposes
his homies might not
WACK100,
necessarily
aka
deal with
Cash
Crips
Jones,
like that, so
the
he
former
wanna
Death Row
sign up
affiliate,
Crips.
and Pacoima Pyru Blood as a confidential
Without it getting
informant for the FBI.
back.
What's going on? I'm here.
We got Mark Stevens on, and
Okay.
hey Mark, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir. Yeah, we can hear you. Salute Mark Stevens. This Stats 280. Salute everybody. Salute.
Yes, sir.
So you was cool with him from the beginning, even negotiated on some business as he.
Yeah, I met him. I met him with Stutterbox. I met him with the homie Stutterbox. That's how I first came to meet Wack, was through the homie Stutterbox. Right? When I met him, dude was driving trucks, seemed to be cool. Box was like, yo, this was his neighbor across the street. He seemed to be cool. When Stutterbox defected, Wack.
That brother defected.
It's like, yo, this was his neighbor across the street.
Let's stop it right there. Shout out to homie Doe. Color Raps and Combs, Mark Stevens right here, Stephen A. Smith right here, and Big U right here. Here goes Mark Stevens again, and here goes Big U again. Two different pictures. Just so y'all know.
He seemed to be cool. When Stutterbox defected, when he defected, Wack picked up the phone and was basically being the interim, the middleman, because he was telling me Stutterbox was defected, and I was like, okay, but my whole thing is if he defected, why are you fucking with him?
Right. So he says that Stutterbox defected, and then you get some phone calls asking to speak to someone else, right?
Yeah, he called me. He called me, man. It was, man, a series of calls, 4 or 5 calls. He wanted to reach out to the homie, rest in peace, Dell Dog. And I don't give out nobody nav. So I called the homie, Dell Dog. I'm like, yo, homie, you want to holler at this dude or what? Because he keep calling me. And he was like, nah, I'm good on that. I don't want to holler at dude.
So at some point, you get a phone call from WACK100, Cash Jones. And when he contact you, what did he contact you concerning?
He wanted to reach out to Dell Dog, rest in peace. And he wanted to give Dell Dog some information that he had gotten from Stutterbox, right? It's like he was getting information from Stutterbox on what his plan was and what the get down was gonna be. And he wanted to talk to the homie and talk to him. And Dog wasn't getting on the line with him. And he kept blowing me up because he wanted me to get him on the line.
Smart man. Rest in peace to Dell Dog, man. So he's talking about the phones is being compromised. Is that one of the things that he told you?
Well, the homie Dell Dog never trusted dude. You follow me?
Right.
So Dog didn't know was the lines compromised or was they wired up for sound or not. He just wasn't gonna chance it. You follow me? Right. But it was later on. It was later on after they took the case to they was taking it all away because the homie ain't had no choice. You know, he was facing a life sentence, so he had to take it all away. And with all the lawyers that was involved, they was able to get the discovery, and that's when we found out that the lines was compromised.
And as soon when you get the discovery, was part of that the actual wiretap
the whole transcript. I got the whole transcript.
When I show y'all the actual paperwork, because this is the wiretap transcript where they would talk about the call and then they break down and summarize it. It's called a transcribed wiretap, right? But you just heard one of the targets of the investigation, Money Mark Stevens. Remember Tiny Draw said, you know about Dell Dog, you know about Money Mark, you know about Stutterbox. What Stutterbox got to do with this? Nigga, I'm talking about that paperwork. These two Shaq's right-hand man in the allegations Stutterbox is presenting, accusing Dell Dog of sending people to kidnap him, bringing them to him to torture, all of that type of stuff. The extortion of Shaquille O'Neal and Mark Stevens by WACK100 and Stutterbox, right? The conspiracy to extortion by WACK100 and Stutterbox. All of this still circles around Shaquille O'Neal. You could go to the LA Times. You could Google it. Everything's going to come up, the lawsuit around and targeting Mark Stevens, because if you get Mark Stevens, that's how you connect him to Shaq, right? This is his right-hand man. And he just told you that he had this paperwork. What he got to make fake paperwork for? This a millionaire, a sports agent. Ron Artest, Pac-Man Jones, Shaquille O'Neal, multi-millionaires who had illustrious sports careers. and endorsements and still getting paid today, films and podcasts, right? Still getting paid today. What does he need to make fake paperwork for when his attorneys had to give him the paperwork? Obligated to give him the paperwork as long as he asked. I just want, when they question authenticity, I just want y'all to know this came from the man.
Transcript, the whole transcripts of the whole wiretaps.
And do you, in that paperwork, do you see your conversation with Cash Jones in them transcripts?
That was the initiating. That was the initiating when they started recording.
Right. And how did they refer to Cash Jones?
In the paperwork they put him as Back, BACK. And
correct.
I kept asking the lawyer, like, who the fuck is, I ain't talked to no Back. And they said, nah, that's Wack. But they put him as Back because he a blood. So it's Back. And I said, oh, okay.
And was this Back also referred as confidential source number 2?
Yes, sir.
Correct. Well, man, I'm glad that the truth was able to come out. And it's sad.
But bigger than that, homie, right? I watched dude, man. He said some things about the big homie Shaq, that wasn't true. He said some things like he been trying to destroy the big homie Big U name. And I'm seeing and watching this, and I called the big homie U. We was talking. I said, yo, when you get into Atlanta, man, come see me. Because I had what I had for years. And when I gave it to the homie, I said, man, you read it. Because it was a big-ass textbook of shit. And the homie just sided with what was right. He said, I can't fuck with dude no more. And that was the end of that.
Until Wack started attacking, and that's when Wack started attacking him with false allegations and all of this online weird shit, right?
Correct, because the homie Big U asked me why I didn't fuck with the nigga, and I said, when you pull up, I'm gonna show you. I want you to read it. And when he read it, he was like, oh, okay, I see why you don't fuck with the nigga. I can't fuck with the nigga. And that was it.
Wait, how long was it from when you first got it that you met you in Atlanta to show him the work?
I got the paperwork from the attorneys probably in, I want to say 12 or 13, because it was a series of, remember the incident happened.
To answer your question, who had an Amir Muhammad ID stutterbox? The victim and snitch on this case. Well, one of them. Unlike WACK100, he act like he don't know that more than one person can't tell on a big conspiracy case. Let's go.
In 07, 06, 07, but Box had went to prison. He called a drug case, so he went to prison, and they waited to almost the last month of the statute of limitations to go get the homies from Main Street. Right. So it had been about a 5-year period from the time that had happened to the time that they came and got the big homies. And then once they got,
how did you feel about you waiting that long now?
Well, he chastised me, and I never, one of the things, bro, and it's like it's the slippery slope, as people say, right? Like on one end, Wack, the nigga, he wasn't doing no harm, right? He was just trying to move around and be the tough guy. Okay, cool. You know what I'm saying? My whole thing is, okay, that's what you want to do, cool. But then it went from that to, I heard what he was saying about the big homie Shaq, and then I heard what he said about Big U, and that's when I picked up the phone. I said, hey, you, man, I want you to read something, man. And then once you read it, once you know, That's Quran. That's the Holy Quran. Once you know, you're accountable for what you know. And when he read it, he said, okay, I see why you don't fuck with dude. I can't fuck with dude. And that was it. Let me tell you something, man. I probably haven't seen nor talked to Wack in years, And you know, I wish everybody success and happiness, but not on the basis of lies.
Right.
You know,
and
not on the
and really indicative of your character, Mark, because you have a whole campaign publicly of a brother that's heavy in our community positively, helping get these kids graduated from school and into football and all of these other positive things. And he smutting his name through the mud just because he decided not to deal with it.
And brother, well put. Look, I call the homie Big U all the time. I call him the naked truth. And he always be like, why you call me the naked truth? I said, because WACK is the well-dressed lie.
Bitch, I'm naked right now.
You know, it's an old parable about truth and lie.
Nasty word.
And, you know, lie jumped out the water and put on truth clothes. So you had a well-dressed lie, but then truth got out the water and it was naked. So you got the naked truth that's trying to run down a well-dressed lie. Feel what I'm saying? Throw a rock and hide his head.
Right. That's a familiar tactic that he used. But we needed to get the truth where truth appears, falsehood disappears, man. And I wanted to hear that for myself, man.
Man, hey man, I appreciate you, man, and you know, God bless. But like I said, man, you know, it's a lot of things is just a well-dressed lie. That's all I can say.
Right, and that's what Cash Jones is. He is the well-dressed lie.
Yeah, and Big U is the naked truth. You know, it is what it is. He always stood on the side of truth. He ain't never wavered from that. From the time I gave him that paperwork, I watched him take assault after assault because he just did the right thing. He just said, I can't fuck with you.
And I'm so glad that he ain't responded publicly to these negative lies because he's above that shit. Let him stay low and you just stay high. Don't let this man trick you up off the street or the feeling like you got to address every lie he makes up every day.
Well, and then you got to understand too, bro, it's, you know, like I told you about throwing a rock and hiding your hand. You know, what's the motive for throwing the rock to begin with? Like, we know the rocks is being thrown, but what's the motive? Like, you know, like, only thing I saw the homie Big U do, put out a great documentary on hip-hop. I see him, man, putting these kids through college and sending them, like, I'm trying to understand what's the motive, or it's a motive that we can't comprehend because we don't think on those levels. You feel me?
Hey, that's perfectly said. And I'm going to tell you this, in all of my life, being from the community of South Central Los Angeles, only time I ever heard of a public artificial dissemination of disinformation was through COINTELPRO and J. Edgar Hoover, man. And I'm just gonna drop that jewel and let you go, man.
Man, I appreciate y'all, man. Y'all have a good day, man.
Likewise, brother.
All right, salam alaikum.
WACK100, who built his metaverse career by arguing about snitches and paperwork, has himself been exposed as a confidential informant for the FBI. According to paperwork and first-hand witnesses, when you look at the paperwork and talk with the individuals directly involved in this Main Street Mafia Crip case, it becomes abundantly clear that WACK100, the former death row affiliate, and Pacoima Piru Blood, was previously a confidential informant for the FBI.
Big Stone say, why CS2 Back didn't call Mark on Clubhouse? Nah, he brings the police. Nasty work. How could you bring the police when niggas saying that you went and talked to the police when the first code of the streets is don't talk to police, but you went to the 64th floor and talked to them anyway, right? So now you got accusations and we want to see what was said. You waived your Miranda rights, we want that. The search warrant to your house, we want to know how they got the search warrant, what information they got, and we want to know what they took up out, whatever they confiscated from your house for evidence. We want to know what was said. When you sitting at the table with them people, they start recording, right? There's a recording of what WACK100 said. And they're going to write what's called an investigative report, summarizing whatever you said. I asked Greg Caden for this, and I'm going to show you that video. I got to look for that one, but remind me before I get off. We showed that Greg Caden said, I said, well, look, I just want all of these things that I just listed to y'all as the public. It's public record. We got a right to do it. He said, not necessarily. He said, not if it's pertaining to an ongoing murder investigation. I'm talking about WACK100. Cash Jones' statement on the 64th floor when he spoke with Greg Caden, the one of the lead detectives on the Tupac and murder investigation, right? Tupac and Biggie murder investigation, right? So when you talking about the head detective of these murder investigations, you went and talked to them. You got ties. Forget the Main Street case. We see you was trying to line Del Dog up. He didn't go for that. They referred to you as confidential source 2 back, which means you was already working. That's established. We're talking about when you went up there to talk to these two people who are seeking intelligence and evidence to seal off the Biggie Small murder. Now remember, Biggie mom filed that Detective Poole from the LAPD had believed that the police were involved, had did an extensive investigation, wrote a book called The Labyrinth with all of this different evidence and all of these other crimes that Death Row was alleged to do. Building the case, he believed that the police and the LAPD were a part of it. He ended up dead. They said he had a heart attack in the office while they were talking to him at work. Next thing you know, in comes Greg Caden. Why would they put Greg Caden on such a big case when he already was a disgraced cop? He had let Mexican George, who owned the numero unos, Diamond, you know about the Mexican George case?
Yeah, he had already been reprimanded by the judge on that case.
Right. And on that case, Mexican George, who owned all the numero unos in LA, allegedly one of the biggest amigos in LA when it come to getting that bag, right? He beat his federal case because this dude threw the case. So I believe he was brought in as a cleanup to cover up so the city and the LAPD would have to pay the money to Viola Wallace, Biggie's mom, if the facts came out. And WACK100, Reggie Wright Jr., Stutterbox, all of them talked to this federal task force. So let me get to this real quick because I think Yael can remember this. Let's go. Damu Keyway conversation. Oh, hold on. I'm gonna have to start it over. That part was, don't forget that. I thought he said the first rule is
in the middle of
don't talk to the police.
Well,
Let's go. Wait, back up.
Remember I was fighting strikes? Yeah, that's him.
Remember I was fighting 3 strikes? That's the lawyer that helped me get off.
Remember I was fighting strikes? Yeah, that's him.
He talking to the sheriff. He said, call
right, because I was caught up in the middle of all that.
Well, first of all, there were no arrests made other than Cash Jones.
WACK100, most famously known for arguing on Clubhouse.
One more time.
Jones.
What?
Because I was caught up in the middle of all that.
Well, first of all, there were no arrests made other than Cash Jones.
WACK100, most famously known for arguing on Clubhouse, has been exposed as an confidential informant in paperwork recently released by defendant Money Mark and Stutterbox. Before we play the recording of Money Mark, who was the main defendant in this case, confirming Wack is back, let's take a look back to when Wack himself spoke on this case and admitted to meeting with the feds and also saying they owe him a favor.
So that's all we want to show y'all about that part. This nasty work. Nasty work. Let's get to this. Let's get to the paperwork. We cooking tonight. Hit that like button, man. Y'all got to show a little bit of respect. We got Henny Gang in the building. Shout out to Henny. And
I just do so want to give people something else to think about as well. That's all I'm gonna do in here tonight is just give y'all stuff to think about.
well, I appreciate
Why would they ever owe him a favor? Does that even make sense at all to anybody?
Yeah, he helped.
Yeah, I'm gonna answer that. Yeah, it makes sense when you working with them and you giving up
Bingo.
reliable source
Bingo. That's
and
the
you at
only time.
137. Hey, listen, hey niece, I'm gonna tell you one more time. If I drop a dime, you're going down.
Let's
Hey,
start.
you know the old cliche, a favor for a favor.
Facts. All right, so we'll start with this one. All right, this is Stutterbox statement to police. The based on we ain't from Main Street Crip. I know y'all don't respect the laws of the land. We do. So all of their sores and wounds ain't our business, but CS2 back is. But we definitely finna get into this paperwork. And we made sure that we cut out some paperwork, some names that aren't pertinent to what we were focused on doing out of respect for the Main Street Crips. So on February 10, 2008, victim Robert Ross was kidnapped from the parking lot of the Pink Dot, a business located on Sunset Boulevard in the city of West Hollywood. Hey, they said this paperwork was fake. Y'all see this this number to the discovery? Y'all can get at the courts and get this same paperwork. It's on every page, but it's fake. But he was ordered at gunpoint to enter his vehicle and drive to 127 East 104th Street. I guess we knew the address too to put it in there, the fake address. Once at that location, he was assaulted and robbed of his jewelry and money. After being allowed to leave the location, Ross drove to the LAPD 77 Division to report the crime. LAPD notified West Hollywood Sheriff Station of the crime, which initiated in their jurisdiction, and they dispatched the radio car to take the first report. LAPD Detective Mark Arenas assumed the investigation from West Hollywood Sheriff Station due to his involvement in an ongoing federal investigation involving the Main Street Crips. So Mark Arenas, Detective Mark Arenas, was already involved with the federal investigation. He's part of the federal task force that later linked up with Greg Caden and his partner. On February 12th, 2008, Detective Mark Arenas and Christian Marikich interviewed victim Ross and showed him a series of six-packs containing the suspects involved in the kidnap, robbery, and assault. The following suspects were positively identified by victim Ross: James Harbin, and then I guess that's his birthday, a.k.a. Wood. Deion Hawkins, I don't know Wood. Deion Hawkins, male black, his birthday, a.k.a. D-Lo. I don't know D-Lo. Eddie Hill, male black, his birthday, a.k.a. Lil West. And Taekwon Wingate, male black, 5, and then his birthday, a.k.a. SK. A single photograph of Liddell Rawls, male black, his birthday, Dale Dog, was shown to the victim Ross, which he positively identified. It should be noted that victim Ross grew up with all of the suspects and has known them for years. After the six-packs were shown, the case was reassigned to the LA County Sheriff's Department, Major Crimes Bureau, Detective Marcelo Quintera. Do you guys hear Greg Caden's name on any of this investigation? Well, I didn't see it either. Let me see if we could go to the next page.
But wait, dudes. So allegedly, they're alleging that you sat and you made up everybody's date of birth. You done made up addresses and locations and all types of stuff.
Yeah.
I think y'all
Wait,
made up everything. Y'all made up.
hold up. But didn't he just get busted in Vegas for false paperwork to the court? Submitting
Right.
false. You know what? I'm gonna go back to the back.
All right. So let me see. That was page 2. Let's see if we can find page 3. I think this might be it. During this same period of time, O'Neal and Stevens felt Ross was causing too much bad publicity for them because he had been arrested for possession of a firearm and was dropping O'Neal's name to police when stopped for a traffic violation. O'Neal and Stevens therefore made the decision to sever all ties with Ross. Within the next couple of months, Stevens received a voicemail message from Ross stating, "I need to talk to you, man. The big fella, he's slipping. He's making a lot of mistakes." Soon after, Stevens received a call from Cash Jones. Who received the call from Cash Jones? Money Mark Stevens. And Cash Jones told him that Ross Stutterbox had a videotape of Shaquille O'Neal having sex with a woman, not his wife, at Ross's home, and that Ross could take the tape to TMZ and get a lot of money. Does that sound like extortion to y'all?
I ain't the smartest or the brightest bulb at times, but that's what it sounds like to me.
And it's classic motherfucking CS2 back. He always in the middle of a play.
I got the tape. I got the tape. Whether you talking about Oscar De La Hoya, whether he lying about that one, whether you talk about Kim K and Kanye West, on that one, Ray J and Kim Kardashian, depending on what you believe about that. But I got the tape. But that was page 3, I believe. If it's not in order, let me go to the next one. All right. So Ross, who was still upset over the fact he was owed money, had a friend named Cash Jones deliver a message. Now, this is Stutterbox statement to the police. Had Cash Jones deliver a message to Mark Stevens and Shaquille O'Neal. Jones told them that Ross had a videotape of O'Neal having sex with a woman inside of Ross's home in July 2007. Stevens, who had been to Ross's home, knew that he had surveillance cameras throughout his home and that O'Neal had, in fact, been there. Ross told investigators Fournier and Coet. Remember, we just played the little clipping where the police said the only person that we were able to arrest in that investigation was Cash Jones? Well, here is his name right here, Detective Coet, and his partner Fournier. Stutterbox is talking to them, and their name is in the paperwork. We done said a lot of police officers' name. One name that we ain't said was Greg Caton, who WACK said was the lead investigator of this case. That's bullshit. He didn't come on until later on. So Ross told investigators Fournier and Coet that he viewed the surveillance footage from the surveillance system monitor. However, he never downloaded it to a tape. He said the footage has since been recorded over by later surveillance. Ross was adamant that he was just bluffing in the hopes that he would get the money that was owed to him. So the money that he feels is owed to him, if you paid attention earlier, WACK100 was talking on the first video that I showed and said that they cut Stutterbox out of the Ray J deal when he brought Ray J to the table. Ray J was his friend. Ray J was also one of his neighbors, right? In that same little gated community or whatever. So the kidnapping and robbery took place approximately 2 weeks after Jones delivered the message to Stevens and O'Neal. So right now, if I try to extort Henny, Diamond, If I try to extort Henny and I say, Henny, I got you busting it all open on video camera and all of that, and I say, hey, look, she not answering my call. She done cut me off, but she got that bag. This is the play. I'm going to get my money back that she owed me. Tell her I got a video camera of her busting it open and or having sex with somebody who's not her husband or her girlfriend, depending on whatever her preferences is, right? And TMZ will pay a lot of money for it, and you take one overt act and move toward that and contact Henny to press that message. Don't you believe that that's an overt act in a conspiracy to extort by the law? I just want to hear y'all take on that.
Yeah, that's conspiracy.
Right. And all of this is in the paperwork. You know what I'm saying? So investigators asked Ross why Mark Stevens and or O'Neal would have Liddell Ross organize and execute the kidnapping robbery. Ross explained that early on with his negotiations with O'Neal, Ross brought O'Neal to the Main Street Crip neighborhood and introduced him to Ross, which is Del Dog. O'Neal quickly realized that Ross was the leader of the Main Street Crips and befriended him. O'Neal funded a documentary for Rouse under his personal record label called Deja 34. Ross claims that O'Neal has been to the neighborhood on several occasions. In one of O'Neal's rap songs, Can't Stop the Rain, O'Neal acknowledges Ross by their gang monikers, Dog and Box, and acknowledges the Main Street Crips. Investigators asked Ross how he was able to escape from Rao's home. From Rao's house, he said he told Ross that he had made a call to his mother and sister prior to his arrival at Rao's house, and they would wonder what happened to him if he never made it home. And then it's cut off. I got to get a better copy of that one. But let me see if we can swing this thing this way. Boom. September 11 at approximately 1300 hours. This is the police talking to Ray J. This is a Main Street Crip case. Let's talk about that. Main Street Mafia Crips are under investigation by the sheriffs, LAPD, the FBI, the DEA, and they talking about a self-proclaimed Paru, WACK100. They're talking about to Mark Stevens, who has no gang affiliations or ties. He's not a Main Street Crip. And then they're talking about Shaq, who he's not a Main Street Crip. Shit, he's a damn police in several different cities, right? And now we're talking about another Paru, Ray J. On September 11, 2008, at approximately 1300 hours, investigators interviewed Ray J. Norwood. Norwood is the rapper who victim Ross introduced to Mark Stevens to facilitate a recording contract with Koch Entertainment in New York. Koch Entertainment is the company now known as E1, who was just bought up by Hasbro for about $7 billion or $8 billion and paid their debt when they bought it several years ago. Norwood told investigators that he and Ross are neighbors and became friends. He learned that Ross had connections in the music industry and inquired about making a contact regarding the record deal. Ross introduced Norwood to Mark Stevens, the co-owner of Deja 34 record label based in Atlanta, Georgia. In November 2007, Ross traveled with Norwood to New York to meet with Mark Stevens at Koch Entertainment. Stevens made it clear that Ross would receive his fair cut, a percentage from sales, if Norwood was to sign with Koch Entertainment. After weeks passed, Ross learned that he would not be compensated for his involvement in the signing of Norwood. Koch Entertainment became impatient and threatened to call the deal off. Ross told Norwood, go ahead and sign the contract, and that he would deal with his own issues with Mark Stevens. So this is where the whole problem started. Shout out to Mark Steven, but Money Mark is consistently being said that you had promised by Ray J, and Mark, and even in your own statement that Robert Ross Stutterbox was involved with the deal to sign Ray J. So was CS2 back. He set the meeting up with Suge to get Ray J out of supposed to be contract with Suge Knight. And that's how he became security. Mark Stevens made WACK100 security for Ray J once they got him signed and had the thing. It was Koch Entertainment, Deja 34, Knockout Entertainment, a 50-50 deal. They cut him out. Koch Entertainment became impatient and threatened to call the deal off. So Stutterbox told Ray J to go ahead and sign the contract. He'll deal with his own issues with Mark Stevens. It was Norwood's belief that Ross was not treated fairly and should have been compensated for his role in the project, especially after Stevens told him he would be compensated. Norwood told investigators that he acknowledged Ross on his latest album cover by writing, "Box, thanks for putting this whole deal together." So you know the police went and checked the album cover and seen that also, right? So that's Ray J's statement to the police. Well, let's go. This is all fake paperwork, though. We wrote this up. You know what I'm saying? We made all this shit up.
Well, if you made it, why you didn't include his booty goons?
Right. I didn't know that. I don't know no booty goons. So Ross stated on February 10th, 2008, he drove to West Hollywood area to meet some friends at the Pink Dot, located on Sunset Boulevard. He estimated that he arrived at the location around 10 p.m. He parked his vehicle in the driveway to the location, then got out and began talking with an acquaintance known only as H. Approximately 10-20 minutes later, Ross recognized a member of the Main Street Crip gang known to him as Wood, real name James Harbin, pulled his truck up next to the location and stopped. Harbin exited the vehicle and walked across the street and began urinating in the bushes. Harbin got back. Stutterbox ain't that shot. Okay, all this going on, and this nigga go over there, don't acknowledge me. He from the hood, and he over there pissing. He buying time. Let me get my shit. Harbin got back into his truck, drove 1 block away, pulled over and stopped. Approximately 3 to 4 minutes later, 3 other vehicles pulled up next to the Harbin. All the vehicles then made a U-turn and drove back to the Pink Dot. Harbin parked his truck behind Ross's vehicle, which prevented him from leaving. Harbin exited his truck, approached Ross, and told him that Dog, real name Liddell Ross, wanted to see him. Ross explained that Dog, or Del Dog, is the shot caller leader of the Main Street Crips. Harbin told Ross, all the homies are strapped, meaning they all had guns on them. If we wanted to kill you, we could kill you. Ross recognized D-Lo, Deion Hawkins, Pat Rat, Marlon Hunt, and SK Taekwon Wingate, all Main Street Crip gang members at the location. There were other young members from the gang who he did not recognize. Ross could see that they were all armed. Harbin called Ross on his cell phone and told him, we got him. Ross heard Ross say, if he tries to get away, y'all do him. So now they got him. They call and tell Del Dog, and Del Dog said if he tried to get away, murder, allegedly. Ross understood this to mean if he tries to escape, to kill him. Harbin handed Ross his phone and he spoke with Ross, telling him that he didn't want to go back to the neighborhood because he was scared for his life. Ross told him that he had no choice and said, I knew I'd get you. He then told Ross to get the phone back to Harbin. Harbin told Ross to get inside the car and that he would ride with him back to the neighborhood. Wingate got in the back seat of Ross's vehicle. However, Harbin told him to get out and go back in the vehicle he came in. Ross drove his vehicle back toward the neighborhood as instructed, with Harbin riding in the passenger seat armed with a handgun. Deion Hawkins followed behind, driving Harbin's vehicle. Someone from the group drove Hawkins' black Yukon Denali. Hold on, who down there? Let me pull him back up. Oh, that's Diamond. All right. Harbin told him to get out and go back into the vehicle he came in. Ross drove his vehicle back towards the neighborhood as instructed, with Harbin riding in the passenger seat armed with a handgun. Deion Hawkins followed behind, driving Harbin's vehicle. Someone from the group drove Hawkins' black Yukon Denali pickup truck back to the neighborhood. 2 other vehicles. Well, I wonder how I knew that what kind of cars they had and shit. 2 other vehicles described as a blue Chevrolet Tahoe and a small car followed behind them. Once arriving in the neighborhood, Harbin told Ross to park in the driveway next door to Rawls' house. This house belonged to a fellow Main Street Crip gang member named Big Herb. Ross was instructed to get out of his car. Harbin escorted Ross to Rawls' house, where he was waiting out front. Also at the location was Deion Hawkins, D-Lo, Marlon Hunt, Pat Rat, and Ross's cousin, Eddie Hill, Lil West. Let's go to the next page. Rouse acknowledged Harbin and Hawkins for their successful job. Harbin then left the location. Rouse had Hawkins move Ross's car from Herb's driveway to the rear of Ross' house where it could not be seen. Rouse, Hill, and Hunt then began striking Ross about the head and body with clenched fists. Rouse escorted Ross through a side gate leading up to the entrance to the house. He told Hill and Hunt to remain out front and be a lookout. Ross estimated that he was on the front porch of the house for 1 hour. During this time, Ross told him, "I've been waiting to get my hands on your ass." And he hit Ross over the head in the face with a .45 caliber pistol. Damn, I wonder how I was able to get that detail. Since this is fake paperwork, the force from being struck with the gun caused his bottom lip to split open and caused contusions to his head and body. After approximately 1 hour after arriving, Rouse escorted Ross to a converted music studio located in the rear of the house. Rouse struck Ross a few more times and then took his diamond necklace, a Rolex watch, and a pair of 1-carat diamond earrings from his person. Rouse was removed $15,000 cash from Ross's pocket. Ross explained that he had this money to purchase a vehicle the following day. During the assault, Rouse told Ross, "Mark and Shaq know who the real boss is now," and said, "Why shouldn't I kill you right now?" Rouse then demanded the videotape and $100,000. Ross explained that this kidnapping and assault was the result of a business deal gone bad, and Shaquille O'Neal's belief that Ross had a sex tape of him, Shaquille O'Neal, with a woman who was not his wife, and that Ross was having an affair with his wife, Shani. He said that near the end of 2007, he befriended a rap artist named Ray J. Ross negotiated with a music recording executive named Mark Stevens, whose business is located in Atlanta, Georgia. Stevens is partnered with NBA player Shaquille O'Neal, who funded the company. During the negotiations, Stevens agreed to pay a percentage from the profits to Ross if Ray J signed with Koch Entertainment, which is based in New York. In November 2007, Ross flew with Ray J to New York to meet with Alan Koch and Mark Stevens regarding a recording contract. A few weeks later, Ross met with Stevens regarding his contract and the recording contract for Ray J. During this meeting, who keep going out? Let's go. Okay. So he met with Mark Stevens regarding his contract and the recording contract for Ray J. During this meeting, Stevens let Ross know that he would not be receiving any money for his involvement in the project and that there was only one contract, and that was for Ray J. Ray J refused to sign the contract at that time, and the deal was held back for approximately 3 weeks. So Ray J tried to hold them niggas to it and stick with Stutterbox because that's who put the deal together. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Ray J for trying to keep it a buck with his peoples and make sure that his people got paid. But how would I know this if this paperwork was fake? You know what I'm saying? So ultimately Ross convinced Stutterbox convinced Ray J, man, go ahead and sign anyway, man. I would deal with my own contract issues later. So now you gotta think, nigga, cut a nigga up out of deal that he put together. A nigga gonna feel a little salty. During the next few weeks, Ross continued to request his money from Mark Stevens. Stevens made it clear he was to get nothing. Ross also talked to Shaquille O'Neal in hopes that he would agree to pay the money owed. During this period of time, O'Neal apparently was going through marital discord and had his wife followed by private investigators. O'Neal received photographs of his wife having lunch with Stutterbox. He became angry and got a message to Ross that their business was done and to stay away from his wife. So now it's starting to sound like he was supposed to get paid. Shaq got a private investigator to investigate, found pictures of Stutterbox messing with Shawnee, and now they cut him out the money he was supposed to get. Dick and pussy shit. You know what I'm saying? So you got Money Mark statement, Ray J statement, Stutterbox statement, and then I'm gonna give y'all Shaq's statement, and then we gonna end the day. I'll get back into the rest of the paperwork tomorrow. Because tomorrow we is flaming CS2 back up with the new information and the whole new documentary that shout out Scandalous Los Angeles. Let me see who is this. Already been denied. Let me find this page. If I can find it real quick, because I don't want to take too long. Oh, I do want y'all to see this. Let me blow this up. The paperwork y'all said was fake. Attached is a copy of the transcribed call between Harbin and Rawls, which was intercepted pursuant to a federal Title III wiretap case referred to Section 16938. So the wiretap that I'm telling you is pursuant to federal Title III wiretap, and you can refer to session 16938. Just so y'all don't keep believing these rats that try to deny the authenticity of this paperwork. Well, that's it. I can't find the Shaq thing. So tomorrow, when we come with the new documentary, I have the other stuff in order, and we'll start with the Shaquille O'Neal statement. Let me hear it. Anybody, Yael, you got anything you want to say about it?
Man, it's old truth that's still relevant, man. Y'all hear all the content, y'all hear all the facts that's been brought out. So really and truly, man, it's really up to the people to just understand, like, we regurgitate this information because it's very important, it's valid. Don't sleep on it. Damu Kiwe Conversations.
Yeah, I just feel like when it comes down to the truth is always going to stay the same. Meanwhile, a lie is ever changing, ever evolving. This has been the same from the day the content originally dropped about this paperwork all the way up until now. So it's up to the people to decide, do they want to believe an ugly lie? Well, a beautiful lie or an ugly truth? Because all of this is backed up. Nobody has time to sit and make documents except for CS2 back. All of us got active lives. So we be active in our chucks, sipping on our Henny.
You feel me?
But really people digest the information and really look at what you're being given. because this information here is laying down the groundwork to everything that we've already been exposing. So now when we start bringing you all of this different content, all these different documents that are coming out, always refer back to this, because it's the same plays, it's the same tactics, it's the same moves. Nothing about anything that he does is brand new. It's all recycled acts that he does that all play a part and come out in these documents. Pick a case. The Ray J Rico. Wasn't there extortion being done in that case? Threats against that man's livelihood and his life? So when we get into all of this content, just always look at the facts and weigh it out. That's all I got to say on it.
Diamond. You muted up, bro. Maybe Diamond fell asleep. He don't be getting no sleep. But I'm going to tell y'all this. We also got some new information which came from Reggie Wright Jr. And that was on a phone call. Shout out Spider-Lo Most Easty. You know what I'm saying? Spider-Lo got him on the phone for me because he slandered my name. He told a story and showed my prison ID, California Department of Correction and Rehabilitation. My prison ID saying that I stabbed a dude up in federal prison, in state prison, and after I stabbed the dude up, that I got DP. Never in my life have I been DP by my mama, her boyfriend. But I'm talking about on the street, what you call it, or in the penitentiary yard. That just don't happen with me. First and foremost, I'm not above or bigger than the program, but I don't mess with the Rainbow Brights. I ain't never ran out on none of my homeboys. I was always frontlining on that, and I don't have gambling debts, and my paperwork always been straight. So I don't have them type of issues. If somebody got an issue with me, I'm going to deal with and stand on my 10 toes and do what I'm supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? So I told Spider-Lo, get that nigga on the phone. That nigga owe me a motherfucking apology. You know what I'm saying? So he got Reggie Wright on the phone. And then he was like, man, I don't have no problem with y'all. I love Damu Keyway conversation. Do Sims the way that y'all do research. And then the way y'all come and break it down with the receipts. That's why I respect what y'all doing. I said, man, fuck all that. I need an apology because my homies ain't going for all of this smutting shit. That's what WACK100 did. And he know what he got coming when we catch him. If you saying you ain't got no problem with me, then you need to say that publicly. So he like, well, I'll get that. He said, you only was beefing with me because my beef with WACK100. I said, exactly. Because you helping WACK100, you giving WACK100 information and all of this shit. So he said, well, I'll get you on bond first this week, but I'm not going to lie. I became suspicious that WACK100 was working with the feds, Greg Caden and Dupree. It got so bad that I had to go ask Dupree and Greg Caden, and they told me that he wasn't working with them. So I said, well, he a 137. They can't even reveal his identity as a CS 137 to a judge. So if the judge can't know his identity, he'll never testify in court. That's what a once confidential source 137 is. Why do you think he was going, I have a real good relationship with Caden? I said, well, obviously it wasn't too good. He said, but what made me suspicious that WACK100 was working with them was in Greg Caden's paperwork, WACK100, every incident where it happened, where they raided his house or whether they raided his truck and all of these things, they changed WACK100's name in the paperwork. Now, we didn't see Greg Caden's name in none of the paperwork I read, and you'll see tomorrow it's not in it. These are different investigations. Greg Caden didn't join this investigation until he federalized the Main Street investigation. He says that they didn't know to, and I'll show you all the dates and the documents that I got from Greg Caden about when they federalized the Main Street case. Okay, there you go, Diamond. So, yeah, ex police officer, Reggie Wright Jr., told me and Spiderloke, and Scandalous Los Angeles TV was on the phone also. Me, Spiderloke, and Scandalous Los Angeles TV, that he, in his instincts, that he started at some point to believe WACK100 was working with Greg Caden and Dupree. So much so that he went and asked him, and the reason why was because in Greg Caden's paperwork. Now we're talking about the Biggie Tupac murder. And then I'm going to show y'all something, and then Henny going to take us out. Let me see what it's... Yeah, go ahead while I find this, bro. Perfect segue.
Yeah, no, I was just saying, like Mark said, he wanted to be the tough guy involved in everybody's bullshit, you know?
Right.
And got himself embedded in there, you know? It's not a doubt in my mind that he is who he is, and that's CS2 back.
Right. Nothing else?
Nah, man, that's about it. Shit. Hey, but I want to know why. Hey, he said he was gonna sue you for putting this documentary out. What happened with that?
I'm finna get it to you right now.
He said he was gonna sue you. He was gonna sue World Star Hip Hop. He was gonna sue everybody. He said you made it. You
well,
yeah,
you
you
know
got
what they say,
the
hit dog holler, right? So once we dropped that documentary, in 3 days, in 4 days, we was at 3 million views on World Star Hip Hop. They took the video down, and I could show you everything. I registered it, certificate of registration, ISRC code, UPC code. It's on the certificate of registration with the Copyright Office. This is my intellectual property. The guy, they never sent me a takedown notice, which is the law under the Digital Millennial Copyright Act. If you post a picture on Facebook nude right now, they're gonna tell you that this wasn't in compliance with their rules. It was explicit pictures or whatever. If you using somebody music in there, they're gonna tell you that they removed your post because Universal has claim to the music that you play in it. But when it came to oh, here it go right here. When it came to this, CS2 back, we didn't, for some reason, we couldn't get a takedown notice, right? So I could appeal it, move forward with legal issues or whatever. What made it worse, Wack went on No Jumper, and when they had the big thing on No Jumper about it, and he said, I filed a cease and desist. I was never served with anything from nobody. And I could show y'all the documents. I had to contact World Star Hip Hop DMCA agent with an email. They responded back and said that they're going to investigate it. They never got back. I hit the parent company of World Star Hip Hop and told them the same thing, and they said the same thing, never heard nothing back. What's worse than that is those 3 million views off of my intellectual property with the advertisement that was being collected on that label engine, which is the search engine that snatches the money for World Star Hip Hop. After they took down my video and I published it on YouTube and other people were reacting to it, World Star try to claim the money for my video. So they're going to act like they're doing what they want to with my property. On top of that, they're going to take the money that's owed to me for my property. So World Star, we will be hollering at them real soon. Believe that. In fact, they got a demand for payment coming also. But guess what? After World Star did that, I put it on YouTube. And about a month or so ago, I got a takedown notice for a copyright strike. I got a strike. And guess who the strike was from, Diamond?
Don't say
Cash.
CS2 back.
Cash Jones, right? Cash Jones gave me a copyright strike saying that this was his property, that he owned this property, that I already registered all of this shit, paid Imam, who over there sucking him off now. He first
The same
he just
one that he cussed out and told him he was a bitch and all that.
Yeah, treated him like he should be treated because he
Oh,
already,
okay.
you know, I
They
paid him.
say treat him like a prostitute.
Treat him like a prostitute. You know what I'm saying? But I paid him the money, sent him all of the links, explained to him the whole case. He tell me, I'm convinced this guy's definitely a high power informant. This and this and this and that. And but that was a work for hire. So he had no interest in my he got paid off the top. WACK100 tries to claim the video as his because he doesn't want the world to hear the truth. Well, good luck with that. You didn't want the people to hear Big U. Big U wasn't even going to bring it out. Once he got the paperwork, he loved WACK100 so much. Well, really, WACK100 family, right? His wife, his kids knew his family. He was so attached that he couldn't do nothing to him. So all he did was leave him alone. And Wack couldn't figure it out, and he ran to try to get it out, get ahead of it, right? He comes up
and
every yeah.
That's the cold thing about it. What everybody didn't realize was once Mark and Shaq revealed to Draws, look, this is who this dude is. This is what he's done. And bro made his own decision and said, you know what? I can't fuck with him no more. And he let the dude go cold turkey. It's like he felt like he was in a relationship and a motherfucker just stopped calling, didn't come by no more, and just shut everything down. And just like a relationship, he was so emotionally attached that now he like, I'm gonna make your life the worst in the world. I'm gonna do everything I can to hurt you because you hurt me.
Right.
Crazy.
And that's why you see it every day for the last 3 years. This dude trying to get ahead of it and distract from the fact of the reality that he has to live with. He's CS2 back. And the fact that he had Hassan Campbell leak all of this stuff about Big U or whatever after Marley Marl gave him the head up. Now, the reason why Big U cut you off because he got that paperwork on you. What paperwork? Yeah, some shit with the main streets or whatever. So he tried to get ahead of that. It's the same thing with this documentary. He was trying to get ahead of that so he won't be exposed for the rest of his life. In fact, he hollered at one of the dudes from Main Street and offered him $20,000 to come on Clubhouse and for an interview to say that he's not CS2 back. Salute to that brother, and we won't even say his name for keeping it gangster, holding that bitch ass nigga accountable and turning down that $20,000. Some shit, some people can't be bought. Good names worth more than gold, and that's invaluable. We gonna go let Henny take us out, man. The only way that she know how to do it, man.
All right, y'all. When y'all rest well. Love is always love, and we'll see y'all in the next one.
Damu Kiwe.